Chapter 935. Husband, do you want me to? No need. Without waiting for Ing to finish her words, Lin Rei stopped her. He's just a lackey, let him jump around for a while. I want to see how far he can jump. At this moment, Lin Rei had stopped. As for Hu Yi's ferocious actions, he had activated his divine sense to monitor him. As long as he didn't make a move and didn't cause trouble, everyone would be happy. However, if he made a move and had the intention to kill him, there would only be one result. Of course, the ending had been decided the moment Hu Yi had the intention to kill him. What are you talking about? At this moment, Hong Yu, who was standing beside Lin Rei, was dumbfounded. However, from what he heard just now, he could guess that someone was about to do something irrational. Nothing, bang. A muffled sound rang out, interrupting Lin Li's words. Oh, it seems that I don't need to say anything. Turning his head to look at the damaged private room on the second floor, Lin Rei smiled and said, see for yourself. He is. As he spoke, Lin Rei looked over. At this moment, an old man appeared on the second floor, and beside him was a young man. However, from the oppressive aura he felt from the young man, Hong Yu didn't think that the young man was a simple junior. Hu Yi, if I didn't guess wrong, you are the Hu Yi that 16 mentioned. At this moment, Lin Rei spoke first. Lin Rei already knew Hu Yi's identity. What did you do to 16? Looking at Lin Rei, Hu Yi frowned and his killing intent soared. He still had some feelings for 16. After all, she had followed him for many years. So you are the deputy sect leader of the nameless sect. At this moment, Hong Yu reacted. However, his gaze wasn't focused on Hu Yi, but the young man beside him. You must be the sect leader of the nameless sect that you deliberately mentioned. As he spoke, Hong Yu couldn't help but cup his hands. Hearing Hong Yu's words, the young man also cupped his hands and nodded. Yes, I am the sect leader of the nameless sect, Wuxia. Ha! Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei couldn't help but sneer. He took a step forward and his figure instantly disappeared. The appearance of this scene stunned everyone present. Whether it was the nameless sect or Hong Lu, or even everyone who was still in the auction house, it could be explained why they released their divine consciousness to search for Lin Rei's existence. However, the result of the search made everyone's eyes pop out. This was because in their consciousness, there was no Lin Rei's existence at all. It could even be said that there was not even a trace of his aura. It was as if this person had never appeared. How could this be? Where did he go? At this moment, this thought appeared in the minds of everyone present, circling in their minds like a curse. This seemed to have become a puzzle that everyone present did not understand. They wanted to explore and uncover that layer of fog, but they realized that they did not have the ability to do so. I really don't get it. How did you muster up the courage to kill me with such a petty trick? A voice rang out, reverberating in every corner of the square. Hearing this voice, everyone's body trembled, and a feeling of wanting to submit spontaneously arose in their hearts. You, what are you trying to do? Hu Yi was terrified of the person he wanted to kill just now. He could feel that he was no match for that person. It could even be said that he did not have the qualifications to be his enemy. Tisk, tsk. That's a good question. At this moment, Lin Rei was in no hurry. His tone was extremely calm, like the calm lake without the slightest ripple. You were the one who provoked me from the beginning. Originally, as long as you didn't make a move, I wouldn't make a move. After all, I don't want to do troublesome things. But, suddenly, the tone of the conversation changed. The surrounding air froze, and the temperature suddenly dropped to a freezing point. But you should never have had the intention to kill this sovereign. You should know that people who have the intention to kill this sovereign will either die, or lose the ability to have the intention to kill in this lifetime. Ben Zun, could it be that you are? Hu Yi was dumbfounded when he heard the other party call himself Ben Zun. Only those who had reached the divine realm could call themselves that. But now, how can this be? He's a hierarch. I didn't expect Brother Lin to be a hierarch expert. He's too strong. Yeah, I didn't expect him to be a hierarch expert. I thought he was just an emperor god. I was too rash. At this moment, Linley's words caused a huge commotion. They had never imagined that a godly venerable would appear here. At this moment, the nameless sect was the most worried one, especially Hu Yi. He did not expect the person he wanted to kill to be a hierarch expert. If he knew that the other party was so strong, he would not have acted so presumptuously even if he was beaten to death. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. There was no other way. Since things had already happened, there was no turning back. Husband, time is limited. The sooner we finish this, the sooner we can leave. There are still many things waiting for us to do. Ing said while everyone was still in a daze. All right, I understand. No. I was wrong, Hu Yi was afraid. He knew that his life was coming to an end. He did not want to remember that there were still many things waiting for him to do. If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Since things have already happened, remember to be a good person in your next life. No, I don't think you have a next life. When the voice was heard, everyone felt a gust of cold wind blowing past them. Their bodies trembled and they could not help but take a step back. Some of them even subconsciously went to the corner and wrapped themselves tightly. No. The voice was heard. His eyes were wide open, his mouth was wide open, his hands were clutching his neck and the veins on his forehead were popping out. It was as if something was stuck in his throat, causing him to be unable to breathe. Sigh. What a pity. A divine monarch expert has been destroyed because of his own worries. I really hope that I won't have to do this in my next life. Isn't it good to be a good person? At this moment, Lin Rei's figure had already appeared. He could not help but sigh as he walked in the void. Looking at his figure, everyone only had one thought in their mind. Don't make an enemy out of this person. With a plop, Hu Yi's body suddenly fell to the ground. However, his appearance was no different from before. His hands were clutching his neck and his eyes were bloodshot. He looked very ferocious. Let's go. He came to Ing and the others and said. As for Lu Guiyun and the others, Lin Rei did not even look at them from beginning to end, let alone say goodbye to them. Let's go. This time, there was no more trouble. Everyone left the Wanbao Pavilion. However, Lin Rei's departure gave the people of the Wanbao Pavilion a chance to breathe. The nameless sect has suffered a great loss this time. This time, even the vice sect leader is dead. Yes, but I have never heard of this nameless sect. Now, a divine monarch expert has appeared. This is a bit interesting. TCH, so what? Isn't it just a divine monarch? Which sect doesn't have one? After Lin Rei left, the auction completely changed. It was no longer as silent as before. At this moment, there was nothing to do but talk. It was very lively. In response, the young man of the nameless sect stood to the side indifferently. He looked coldly at Hu Yi's body lying in front of him. There was not a trace of emotion in his calm eyes. So be it. Fortunately, I already know that the aura was released by that person just now, he thought to himself. Then, he turned around and ignored Hu Yi's body. He walked out of the auction house. In response, no one dared to stop him. It was not that they did not dare. It was just that they were not in the mood to stop him at this moment. Because of this matter, their good mood disappeared. They were even afraid that Lin Rei would turn around and kill them. Therefore, when the nameless sect leader spoke, the others all put their emotions on the table and left the auction house one by one. They even left this dead city. Regarding this matter, as the host, Lu Guiyun was extremely regretful. At the same time, he was extremely shocked. Especially after seeing Lin Rei's display of strength. It was beyond his imagination. A hierarch was one of the top existences in the god world. He did not expect a young man to come to this dead city. In his impression, most hierarchs were the type who avoided the world and went into seclusion. But today, Lin Rei's actions had refreshed his impression. Hong Tower. Lin Rei and the others walked out of the Thousand Treasures Pavilion. They did not speak along the way. Hong Yu and Lu Guiyun did not even dare to breathe loudly. It was as if they would die if they made a sound. Lin Rei knew about this situation. But he did not care. After all, it was not a big deal. At the entrance of Hong Tower, Lin Rei and the others finally arrived. The moment they stepped into Hong Tower, they were welcomed by an anxious young man. Is there news? The young man was none other than the person who had received them in Hong Tower. Yes, there's news. Seeing Lin Rei and the others, the young man glanced at Hong Yu and said, I just received news that the Xianming Valley in the north had discovered something similar to what you mentioned. But the details are still to be investigated. After all, it's too far away, but at this moment, Lin Rei had completely shut off the young man's words. Xianming Valley in the north? A look of anticipation flashed through his eyes. Even though his body was here, his heart had already flown to the Xianming Valley. Do you want to leave now? Ing asked as he sensed something. Hehe, you know me well. Lin Rei laughed as Ing pointed out Xin Zhongda's thoughts. Che, don't think I don't know you. Even though he said that, his face was filled with joy. Brother Lin. Oh no, Senior Lin, are you leaving now? Hong Yu heard everything clearly as Lin Rei and Hong Yu did not try to hide their conversation. Yes, I'm here for this piece of news. Since I've already gotten the news, it's time for us to leave. Then, 10 thumb-sized jade tablets appeared in his hand. He handed them to Hong Yu and said, these are sound transmission jade tablets. If you find any information about the space, you can use them to inform me. Of course, in order to provide me with information, you can come to me if you have any trouble. If you can't find the space, go to the other 8 continents outside the 9th region and look for the Xuanzong sect. When you arrive, tell them that Lin Rei asked them to send someone to solve your problem. Then, he looked at Hong Yu and continued, as long as you don't offend a saint, I believe they'll solve it for you. Thank you, Senior. Thousands of words were condensed into one sentence. With a grateful expression, he took the jade tablet and held it tightly in his hand. He had already buried the name of the Xuanzong sect deep in his heart. Yes. That's good. He looked outside and a smile appeared on his face. Then, he turned around and left Hong Lu with Yin and Yang, leaving the dead city. Sigh, they're leaving. They stood at the entrance of Hong Lu and looked at the backs of Lin Rei and the others until they disappeared from their sight. Then, they looked away and calmed down. There's no other way. Senior Lin's cultivation is so low. It's impossible to draw him to our Hong Lu. Xiao Nye understood Hong Yu's thoughts and said bluntly, besides, you didn't hear that in the other 8 continents outside the 9th region, he said that if Hong Lu is in danger, we can go to the Xuanzong sect. He also said that as long as it's not a saint, everything can be solved. Hiss, you're saying. Suddenly, Hong Yu reacted. The amount of information in this sentence was too much. That's right. I suspect that the Xuanzong sect that Senior Lin mentioned is most likely the sect he belongs to. Think about it, he's already an ultimate god at such a young age. How bad can his sect be? The two looked at each other and smiled. They knew that they made the right choice and that was why they received such a generous reward. Northern region, Wuxia Mountain. 2 people and a rabbit walked on the mountain road. It was a funny scene. Rabbit, did you say that the power of space you felt came from this direction? At that moment, the man asked the rabbit beside him. Nonsense. The rabbit rolled its eyes and said, you don't believe in my ability. Don't forget what my original form is. Even if other things can be wrong, I dare to guarantee that I won't be wrong about this. It's in this direction. Then, the rabbit walked on its own as if it was angry and ignored the 2 people behind it. Seeing the rabbit's behavior, the man was stunned. He looked helplessly at Nu E beside him and smiled bitterly. It seems that she's angry. Yes, I think so too, but... The woman smiled and said, it's very serious if we make the rabbit angry. What do you think we should do? At that moment, Ruo Lin could recognize that the man in front of him was his clone, Sakura. The woman and rabbit beside him must be the embodiment of the great path of slaughter, the Dubhe rabbit and Tian Ning. Looking at Tian Ning, Sakura pretended to think and said, yes, I remember that I still have a blue whale eel in my storage ring. I wonder if, yes. Not waiting for the Sakura to finish speaking, the little white rabbit's footsteps suddenly stopped, and then she turned around and said eagerly. Chapter 936. So fragrant. In the mountain forest, there was a flat open space surrounded by tall and lush trees. In this open space, a bonfire was burning, and a piece of meat of an unknown species was hanging on it. The fragrance wafted in all directions. And the funny thing was that beside this bonfire, there was a little white rabbit. It was looking at the meat on the bonfire with a longing look. Its eyes were full of stars, as if it couldn't wait to eat it immediately. "Ha, rabbit, you're a slaughter source. Can you not be so gluttonous? Look at you now. You don't look like a slaughter source at all. You're just a glutton." Looking at the rabbit's appearance, Sakura was very helpless, but there was nothing he could do. Without boasting, even he was drooling over the barbecue on the bonfire. After all, the raw material of this barbecue was a species that he had just discovered. He had never seen it before, let alone eaten it. And there wasn't a lot of this kind of meat. Now, the last piece on the bonfire was already there. If it wasn't for the rabbit, Sakura probably wouldn't have contributed it and would have secretly tasted it himself. What do you know? What is the best in the world? First of all, it is your own strength. With strength, you have the qualification to walk sideways. Secondly, it is delicious food. As the saying goes, only delicious food can't be let down. With that, the rabbit proudly glanced at Sakura, then its gaze returned to the barbecue, so, in front of delicious food, everything can be thrown away. It reached out its hand towards the barbecue on the bonfire. It really couldn't bear it anymore. It was already very rare to be able to endure until now. With a crisp "pa" sound, the rabbit's hand that had just popped out suddenly felt pain. It quickly retracted its hand and turned its head to stare at Sakura with a look of disgust. It looked like it was saying that if you understand me, I will eat you. Don't move, it's not done yet. With that, it reached out and took out a rare treasure. Using its spiritual power, the rare treasure suddenly turned into powder and scattered on the barbecue. Let me tell you, before the barbecue is done, don't move, otherwise, it won't be delicious. Alright, don't be like this. Tian Ning couldn't bear to watch the two of them act like this and hurriedly spoke up to stop them. Look at the two of you. One is a godly venerable expert, and the other is a great path origin. Can't you act like a true expert? Look at the difference between the two of you and a glutton. Ugh. Hearing this, Sakura stopped what he was doing and his left hand stopped above the barbecue. As for Rabbit, she looked at the old man and her sister suspiciously. Both of them looked as though they had already confirmed it, which made Tianning blush. What are you looking at? Am I wrong? As she spoke, she moved her body away from the barbecued meat. However, anyone could tell that Tianning had moved closer to the barbecued meat. The two of them rolled their eyes and were speechless. Looking at Tianning's duplicity, Sakura smiled and a dagger appeared in his hand. He cut off a small piece of roasted meat and handed it to Tianning. Ah, it's done. Looking at the barbecued meat in front of her, Tianning didn't even think about it. She was all smiles and reached out to take it. When this scene appeared, whether it was Sakura or Heavenly Pivot Rabbit, both of them indulged in it without any consideration. As for Tianning, she didn't care about the two's laughter. At this moment, she was most concerned about whether the meat in her hand tasted good or not. Asterisk whoosh, asterisk in the distance, a blue light beam appeared and streaked across the sky. Its speed was so fast that it made people speechless. The direction of the light beam wasn't anywhere else but the forest where Sakura and the others were at. The appearance of the blue light beam in the distance attracted the attention of Sakura, who was roasting meat. As someone who was walking on the edge of death, if he stayed in a place for too long, he would involuntarily release his divine sense to ensure his safety and the situation around him. When the light beam broke into the range of his divine sense, Sakura immediately noticed it. He abruptly stood up, but then sat back down. Not for any other reason but because that light beam was none other than the communication jade slip that he and Lin Ray had exchanged. Whoosh! When the sound of air breaking approached, Tianning noticed it and stopped eating. She turned her head and looked at the direction of the sound with vigilance. The Heavenly Pivot Rabbit also did the same. No need to panic. There is no danger. Noticing Tianning and Tianning's actions, Sakura spoke, but his eyes were fixed on the direction of the sound. Finally, the blue light beam approached and was caught by Sakura. He injected his spirit force and an afterimage appeared not far away. It was none other than Lin Ray, who was thousands of miles away. Sakura, I have already left the Death City. The spatial information I obtained from the Red House is in the North region. It's called the Xianming Valley. I am now heading towards the North region with Ying and Tianning. As he spoke, Lin Ray glanced at Tianning and Tianning. Looking at them, Lin Ray said, I think the two of you were created by the Slaughter Dao origin. You don't have to speak. This is just a message left by the original body's afterimage. As if he knew that Tianning and Tianning were going to speak, Lin Ray left this message in advance. Tianning and Tianning didn't speak. Lin Ray continued, many thanks to the two of you for helping me find the space origin. This sovereign will definitely repay this kindness. You can ask for anything you want. As long as this sovereign can do it, I won't hesitate even if it means killing you. As soon as he finished speaking, the afterimage suddenly shattered. Without giving anyone a chance to speak, a thumb-sized jade slip lay quietly in Sakura's hand. It didn't have the light from before. It seems that this sovereign is anxious. Looking at the jade slip in his hand, Sakura smiled bitterly. He understood the importance of the space origin to this sovereign. He also knew what was involved in it. He couldn't be careless or sloppy about it. Because this was not only related to this sovereign's life. If something happened to this sovereign, then he wouldn't have an easy time. No matter what the reason was, he wouldn't hesitate to do his best. That was Lin Ray just now, which is also your sovereign. Tianning put down the barbecued meat in her hand and looked at Sakura with deep affection. Yes, this guy actually dares to call himself this sovereign in front of this sovereign. Isn't he a little too bold? Hee. Looking at the two of them, Sakura smiled and said, you two don't understand me. He is the kind of person who can often create miracles. Although he himself always seems to keep people 1,000 miles away from him, his ability is very powerful. As he spoke, he looked at the Dubhy rabbit and said, "Even if your way of the Matrix is so powerful, if the person trapped in the Butterfly Valley was me, I probably wouldn't have been trapped for a few days. I would have been able to break through it in a matter of minutes." Oh. Looking at Sakura, the two of them didn't expect him to give his sovereign such a high evaluation. Especially when Dubhy Rabbit heard that Lin Ray could break his array Dao in minutes. Regarding this, Dubhy Rabbit was very disdainful. He didn't believe that Lin Ray could do this. As for Sakura's words, he wouldn't accept them all. After all, without seeing it with his own eyes, who knew if it was true or not? In short, when you meet up with this sovereign, you will understand what I said just now. I only know how to talk about children and not be arrogant. Smiling at the two of them, he then held the jade slip tightly and injected his spiritual energy into it. He transmitted what he wanted to say and his current location into the jade slip. Go! The moment he transmitted what he wanted to say into the jade slip, he raised his hand and threw the jade slip out. With a whoosh, the jade slip turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. What should we do next? Seeing that Sakura was done, Dubhy Rabbit asked with a serious face. That's right. Now that your true body is here, if you find the space origin, I'm afraid you'll have a tough battle ahead of you. You should know that the space origin is extremely powerful. Even I'm so weak in front of it. Sigh. I'm afraid we can only wait for Lin Ray to come for this matter. He understood Tian Ning and Tian Ning's worries. However, when it came to the spatial origin, even if he was Lin Ray's clone, it was impossible to persuade him to give up. Moreover, he wouldn't just sit there like this. Lin Ray wasn't the only one who yearned for the pinnacle of Tao. He, Sakura, also had this thought. Perhaps it was because he was influenced by Lin Ray's yearning. The scene became solemn. Sakura, who noticed this, quickly shook his head and threw all the bad things to the back of his mind. The solemn expression on his face disappeared and was replaced by a full smile. Today, let's not talk about those unhappy things. Let's talk about the happy things. What's the matter? Hearing Sakura's words, Dubhy Rabbit and Tian Ning were stunned and doubts emerged. Of course, have you forgotten what this sovereign said just now? In order to repay you, he said he will try his best to fulfill your request. So, your request is? Looking at Sakura's excited look, the two were speechless. They thought Lin Ray was joking, but seeing Sakura acting like this, Tian Ning and Dubhy Rabbit were indeed somewhat surprised. It's fine. Hurry up and say it. It's a waste not to take Lin Ray's things. Moreover, the things he gave us are all good stuff. Even I can't compare to them. Achoo. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was thousands of miles away, suddenly sneezed. He was very puzzled. For an existence of his realm, it was impossible for an ordinary illness to happen to them. But just now, could it be that someone is missing me? Although he was puzzled, he didn't linger on this matter and immediately sped up. If Linley knew that the reason why he sneezed just now was because Sakura wanted to trick him, then one could imagine the scene that would unfold. Husband, we've been flying for so long. Shouldn't we stop and take a rest? The road ahead is still long. At the side, Ing looked at her husband worriedly and said, there's a village not far ahead. What do you think? After that, she looked at Bing and signaled for her to speak. As for Ying's intention, Bing naturally understood. Yes, husband. Those two pitiful big eyes made Lin Ray's heart tremble. He nodded helplessly and agreed. Okay. We'll go wherever you want to go. Great. After getting Lin Ray's agreement, the two women were excited. They sped up and disappeared before Lin Ray's eyes. Helplessly shaking his head, he sped up and chased after them. In the distance, a village appeared in front of Lin Rei and the other two. However, when they saw the embryonic village not far ahead, Lin Rei frowned and couldn't help but stop. What's wrong? Seeing that their husband stopped, the two women naturally stopped as well. However, they didn't understand why when they approached, but, is there a smell of blood? Understanding the doubts of the two women, Lin Rei said. Then, he released his divine sense and instantly scanned the entire village. However, Lin Rei's face became uglier and uglier. How is it? Is there any difference? Looking at their husband's current appearance, the two women's hearts tightened. A bad premonition surged in their hearts. In their understanding, whenever Lin Rei showed such an expression, something bad must have happened. Sure enough, Lin Rei opened his mouth at the next moment. There are no survivors in the village ahead. Looking at the traces, it should have been destroyed not long ago. The bloodstains haven't dried yet. What? Hearing this news, the two women's bodies shook violently. Their minds went blank and they staggered. They almost fell from the sky. Fortunately, Lin Rei was quick enough to support them. How could it be? Who is so cruel that they didn't even let ordinary people go and destroyed the village? How much hatred do they have to be so ruthless? That's right. Who is it? Looking at the huge village in front of them, the two women couldn't tell. In their opinion, although they weren't good people, at least they weren't bad people. They wouldn't do such a heartless thing. Attacking ordinary people was a big taboo in the cultivation world, not to mention destroying a village. Looking at the two women, Lin Rei sighed. This matter isn't up to you two. Since they were destroyed, it means that they were destined to face this calamity. It's unavoidable. Saying that, in order to not let this matter affect the mood of the two women, he quickly changed the topic. Alright, as the saying goes, if it doesn't concern you, don't worry about it. Since we can't stay here, let's, husband, why don't we, see what exactly is going on here? That's right, husband. Since we encountered this matter, it means that we are fated to meet this matter. Since we are fated and we have such strength, at most, it will just take some time. What do you think, Lin Rei? He wanted to refuse, but looking at the two women's pleading faces, the thread in his heart was touched. He suddenly softened and nodded in agreement. I really don't know what to do with you two. Thank you, husband. Thank you, husband. The two women understood that since Lin Rei said so, it meant that he had agreed to this matter. Moreover, he would find the culprit who destroyed the village and let them get the retribution they deserved. Sigh. Lin Rei didn't respond to the two women's gratitude. He turned around and looked at the mountain village in front of him. Without holding back, his divine sense spread out in all directions with the village as the center. Everything within a radius of tens of thousands of miles appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Chapter 937. While investigating the surrounding situation, Lin Rei used a small tracking spell. But strangely, no matter how Lin Rei searched, he couldn't find any trace of the people who destroyed this village. Even within a radius of tens of thousands of miles, he couldn't find any trace of the enemy. Could it be that they ran far away? He muttered to himself. Then, he increased the range of his divine sense. His divine sense broke through to a new height again. No, the bloodstains have dried up. Those people must not have gone far, but, on the side, feeling her husband's anxious mood, she frowned and her face turned ugly. She understood that if even Lin Rei couldn't find them, those ordinary people in the village would have died in vain. Husband, it's okay. I can find them. Don't worry. In order not to disappoint his wife, Lin Rei decided that he must catch those beasts to win a smile from his wife. Although he had made up his mind, there was no progress on the surface. This was undoubtedly a slap in his face. Humph, bastard, where are you hiding? A tyrannical aura surged in his heart. Evil qi gushed out in an instant. He couldn't understand. With his divine sense and strength, it shouldn't be difficult to track those people who had just escaped. But now, no, could it be? Suddenly, Lin Rei's face changed dramatically. He seemed to have thought of a possibility. Then, he retracted all his divine sense and looked at the ground. A flash of light appeared. If there is no one in the sky or on the road, then, underground. Thinking, his divine sense moved and instantly drilled into the ground. In fact, he really had no other choice. After all, there was no one in the sky or on the ground. The only way to escape was to go underground. This was what he could think of as the ninth disciple. It was also the place that he didn't explore. However, in the next moment, Lin Rei, who was still frowning with a bitter expression, didn't relax for a moment. The bitter expression on his face disappeared and was replaced by a comfortable smile. Humph, if I had known that you would escape from underground, I wouldn't have wasted so much time. At this moment, in Lin Rei's mind, a group of people were crawling under the ground at an amazing speed like ants. At this moment, Lin Rei was 100% sure that those villagers were killed by them. Because there was a faint red light flashing on their bodies. Generally, it would only appear when or after killing people. Lin Rei was sure of this. Tracking them with divine sense, Lin Rei retracted his gaze and smiled at his wife. Let's go, I found them. Let's go. Blur instantly charged out, transforming into a streak of light as he spoke, heading in the direction Linley had pointed. Wait for us? Seeing his wife so anxious, Linley smiled helplessly. He stretched out his hand and grabbed ice. In a flash, he chased after Obscurus. The three of them were so fast that in the blink of an eye, they arrived above the people who were supposed to be underground. However, Lin Rei didn't plan to attack them now. Previously, Lin Rei saw that they were very fast and very orderly. What surprised Lin Rei even more was that their cultivation methods were all of the earth element, and their spiritual roots were also of the earth element. Therefore, Lin Rei was sure that they must have a powerful force behind them, and that force was not small. Looking at them, Lin Rei even guessed that they were from a sect. If they were ordinary thieves, it would be impossible for them to be so orderly, so, husband, let's do it. Ing couldn't help but say. No. Now is not the time. Lin Rei said firmly. He also understood Ying's doubts, so he immediately explained his idea to her. After a few minutes, Ying, who understood the seriousness of the matter, nodded her head repeatedly. Her expression was full of admiration for Lin Rei. Well, since my husband has arranged it this way, I will follow your arrangement. After saying that, Ying was no longer as irritable as before. She just followed him quietly. However, at this moment, a group of people was quickly moving underground. There were probably more than 30 cultivators, and each of them was wearing the same clothes. They were earth-colored, and the aura on their bodies was quite compatible with the earth. In the face of such a group, if one was careless, they would probably pass by this group of people. Third Master, don't you think we have gone too far this time? After all, that is a village with tens of thousands of people. Will the First Master punish us? Yes. Third Master, this is the life of tens of thousands of people. If the First Master knows that we have killed so many people, we will lose our heads. Moreover, that village has always been paying tribute to our stronghold. At this moment, behind the middle-aged man in the lead, three people took turns talking. Judging from their appearance and clothes, their status in the stronghold was not low. It could even be said that they were quite high. The one in the lead was naturally the Third Master that the three of them were talking about. However, his appearance was a little scary. Everything else was fine. The Third Master, who was moving forward, suddenly stopped. Then, the people behind him did the same. Some of them did not stop in time and directly crashed into their companions. However, no one dared to be negligent. After all, the one who stopped the least was their leader. The third master turned around and looked at the three people in front of him with a helpless expression. "I say, can you guys stop nagging like an old lady? Didn't we just destroy a village? Is there a need to make a fuss? Is there a need to let Big Brother know?" But, hearing the third master's words, one of the three people retorted, "But what about the annual tribute? Tens of thousands of people pay tribute. This is not a small amount. If the first master investigates, then the consequences." "That's right, third master. The first master said that they are the parents of our livelihood. Ever since the first master subdued Fengyuan, he has never touched ordinary people. Enough, stop talking." Seeing that he could not out-talk them, the third master directly roared, "This matter has already come to this. Then we will deal with it according to the current situation. As for the tribute issue, we will talk about it when the time comes. As the saying goes, counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Even if we can't stop it and Big Brother finds out, I will take care of it. I believe Big Brother will not do anything to me." After saying that, he cast a reassuring look to the people behind him, then turned around and continued moving forward. You're still talking about loyalty." In the air, Linley, who had been watching them this entire time, laughed inwardly when he heard the third master's words. He didn't think that such a vicious person would actually say such words. But even so, Lin Rei had not seen the third master's killing intent at all. On the contrary, it had increased a lot. Just based on the third master's words, so what if he killed him? Silently, they followed the third manager's group as they charged into the depths of the northern region. As time passed, the third manager's group moved faster and faster, and they only came to a stop when they had covered a distance of 60,000 kilometers. Xiaofan Stockade. At this moment, seeing the third master and his people stop, Lin Rei took Yin and Yang to a hiding place and spread out his divine sense. In front of them, not far from Lin Rei, a large stockade appeared in Lin Rei's divine sense. Above the gate of the stockade, 3 big words were engraved on it. Looking at those 3 words, Linley was certain that those 3 large red words had definitely been written with blood. Only, he didn't know what sort of method had been used to keep them so fresh and bright, and the smell of blood hadn't spread out at all. It's getting more and more interesting. With such methods, such a large stockade, and such a strict system, it's not an exaggeration to say that this is a sect. That's right. It was a school. Linley had thoroughly investigated this stronghold, both inside and out. There were strict rules and regulations within it. To put it bluntly, this was a school. In fact, it was even more perfect than most schools. The only difference was that the cultivators in this stockade had very low cultivation. The strongest cultivator that Lin Rei could perceive was only at the late stage of Divine Monarch realm. As for the third master who had been following them, his cultivation was only at the early stage of Divine Ancestor realm, and he had just broken through. "How is it, husband? Is this their lair?" Sensing that Lin Rei had withdrawn his divine sense, Ing could not wait to ask. "Yes, is this really their lair? If it is, let's hurry up and kill our way in." Bing on the side echoed. Looking at the 2 women beside him, Lin Rei slapped his forehead and shook his head helplessly. "You two, can you not be so anxious? They're right here, they can't run away. What's more, with your cultivation, do you think they can escape?" Hearing Lin Rei's question, Ing and Bing looked at each other and then quieted down. Sigh. Looking at them, Lin Rei sighed. "In a while, you two stay here. I'll go in and take a look. If there's no danger, I'll inform you, okay?" We want to go in too." "Yes, we want to go in too. You just said that with our strength, they can't find us, okay? Bing begged. She stared at Linley with her large, watery eyes. But at this moment, Linley turned around and refused to look at her. In a firm voice, he said, "This matter is non-negotiable." "Okay, this matter is settled. I'll go in and take a look. When there's no danger, you two can go in." With that, he did not stay any longer. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, the previous scene would happen again. Whoosh, with a small invisibility spell, he disappeared in an instant. Then, a strong wind swept through the two women's hair. "It seems that our husband has left," Ing said in disappointment. "Yes." A touch of disappointment appeared. Bing found a clean stone and sat down. At this moment, in the deepest hall of the village, the third leader who had just returned was standing in the middle of the hall. A smile appeared on his face. He looked up at the middle-aged man who was sitting at the top. "Big brother, this time I'm exhausted. Do you want me to go down and rest first? When I'm done, I'll come back." Bang. Without waiting for the third leader to finish his words, the middle-aged man reached out and slammed the table beside him. Suddenly, the table was torn into pieces and scattered on the ground. "Bastard, tell me what you've done, huh?" A roar followed. It could be heard that the man was really angry. "Big brother, what about you? Do you know that those ordinary people are people who worship us like gods? Moreover, they are people who give us tributes. You actually wiped out the entire village. Do you know that cultivators are not allowed to kill ordinary people? If you do that, we will be ostracized and hunted down by all the cultivators in the divine realm. Why did you do that?" "That's right, second brother." At this moment, a middle-aged man who was sitting at the bottom stood up and asked in puzzlement, "Did those people offend you? Or did they do something disrespectful to you? Why did you kill them?" Hearing the words of the person next to him, the third leader's face turned gloomy. He turned his head to look at the man sitting at the top and said, "Big brother, it happened naturally. It's useless to say anything more. Just say it, how do you want to punish me? Are you trying to anger me to death?" Seeing the third leader's reaction, the middle-aged man became anxious. "Third brother, how can you anger your big brother like this? Do you know what kind of consequences your recklessness will bring to the village? If this matter is spread to other villages, what will they do? Will they invite people from the sect to deal with us?" At this moment, the third leader was silent. He understood the seriousness of the matter, but it had already happened. Even if he tried to make up for it, it would be useless. Sigh. Looking at his two younger brothers, the middle-aged man felt powerless. "All right, let's leave it at that. As for third brother, you broke the rules because of the destruction of the village. As the saying goes, nothing can be accomplished without rules. Since you broke the rules, you must accept the punishment. Big brother, Hearing the word punishment, the third leader's face changed greatly. He knew what the rules were. Everyone in the village knew how terrifying the punishment was. It was also because of the existence of the punishment that the people in the village were so well behaved. Say no more. He waved his hand to reject the third leader's plea. Since you broke the rules, you must abide by them. As the third leader of the village, you must set an example. So, the man sitting at the top abruptly raised his head to look at the entrance. His face became very serious. I wonder which fellow Taoist has come to this village head's territory without saying hello. Isn't that a bit impolite? Suddenly, the man's tone changed, causing the two people below to be puzzled. Not coming out? After a few minutes, there was still no one coming out. At this moment, the man sneered and continued, "All right, since fellow Taoist doesn't want to show yourself, I can only personally invite you out." After saying that, the man's figure moved to the entrance of a dense forest outside the door. Looking into the dense forest, he coldly shouted, "Still not coming out? Could it be that you really want me to take action?" At this moment, in the dense forest, seeing the middle-aged man appear, Lin Rei was very shocked. Others might not know, but he knew very well that his concealment ability was very good. Ordinary people would not be able to discover him, but, at this moment. Chapter 938. Since you are so stubborn, don't blame me for being impolite. As he spoke, a fire appeared, and a disaster appeared in the sky above the forest. The fire was so big that it made people speechless. My God, Big Brother's mysterious fire force has been cultivated to such a level. It seems that it is impossible to surpass him in this lifetime. Yes, Big Brother's mysterious fire force is very powerful, especially when he can turn his body into a sea of blood. We can't compete with him just because of this. What's more, the second leader said with envy in his eyes, with the power of Big Brother's flame, even you and I will be turned into ashes in an instant. Subconsciously, the two couldn't help but imagine. As a result, they quickly abandoned the terrible fantasy. TSK, this flame is not bad. At this moment, Lin Rei's thoughts were completely different from the third leader's. There was no trace of fear in his heart, only shock. This cultivation method is a bit unique, and this flame is very powerful. If I can refine and use it properly, or add a kind of heavenly flame, then. Thinking about it, Lin Rei revealed a touch of desire on his face. If the first leader saw his face at this moment, he would be vigilant and retreat. I will count to 3. If you don't come out, then don't blame me. The middle-aged man said again. Alas! Idiot, why are there so many idiots today? Looking through the gaps between the trees and looking at the middle-aged man outside, his heart was in turmoil. 1. Staring at the depths of the forest, he wanted to see if the man could really resist to the end. 2. He blurted out 2 numbers, but there was still no sound in the forest. Not to mention a figure, even a beast or a bird did not appear. 3. Huff, huff, after counting to 3, the man did not hesitate. Under his control, the sea of fire covering the forest slowly approached the forest. The friction between the heat wave and the air made a whistling sound. Hey, I'd like to see who could come to our blood soul stockade without us noticing. Even the 2 of us didn't notice. TSK, with your little cultivation, you still have the nerve to say that? Looking at the third leader's words, the second leader showed disdain. You, look. The third boss still wanted to say something, but the second boss hurriedly reminded him the moment the word, you, left his mouth. At this moment, both of their gazes were focused on the dense forest. Looking at the raging sea of fire covering the dense forest, the scene was extremely fiery. Let's see if you'll still be alive. Sigh at the trouble my blood soul citadel has caused. Looking at the raging sea of fire, the third head secretly rejoiced. Boom! However, just when the 3 of them thought that the person in the dense forest was about to turn into ashes, a monstrous heatwave instantly surged out of the dense forest. The heatwave was so strong that it caused the first head to be stunned. A dignified and horrified expression appeared on his face. How is this possible? This heatwave. After personally experiencing the heatwave, he understood that the flames created by his profound fire strength were like ants in front of an elephant in front of the heatwave just now. Fear was indescribable and uncontrollable. It surged from his heart and spread throughout his entire body. Pa. Very good. This flame is already not much different from an ordinary heavenly flame. An emotionless voice came from the depths of the dense forest. This voice was like a demon's voice. When everyone heard it, it spread in their hearts and did not disappear. How is this possible? Regardless of whether it was the first head or the other two, at this moment, their hearts were extremely shaken. They were incomparably terrified. They really could not understand how the person in the dense forest was still alive. Moreover, his voice was full of energy and did not sound like he was injured at all. Boom! Suddenly, the sea of fire shook. A blood-colored flame appeared in the middle of the sea of fire. In the middle of this blood-colored flame was a figure. Because there were two layers of flames, the first head and the others could not see the appearance of the figure in the flames. You're very good. I'm a little interested in your cultivation method. Give it to me and I'll let you go. Otherwise, just based on your impolite actions just now, I can kill you and exterminate all the people and beasts in your citadel that can still breathe. The blood-colored flame jumped out of the sea of fire. The moment the figure who released the blood-colored flame stepped out of the sea of fire, the blood-colored flame around him disappeared and Lin Rei's figure appeared in front of everyone. He glanced at the first head and then his gaze landed on the third head. Looking at him, a murderous aura emerged. With a cold tone, he said, "Tell me, how do you want to die? Tell me, and I'll give you a quick death." Me? Seeing the mysterious person who appeared pointing at him and saying such words, the third head was stunned. At the same time, he was very confused. He did not remember offending such an existence. On the side, the second head saw Lin Rei pointing at his third brother. He turned around to look at him and scolded, "Third brother, what did you do to make such an expert personally come to find you?" "That's right, third brother." The first head said, "Hurry up and tell us. If there's any misunderstanding, we have to resolve it quickly." Otherwise, hearing his two brothers say such words, the third head was even more confused. He really did not remember offending such an existence. He raised his head and looked at Lin Rei. This junior really does not understand what you mean. Even if you want me to die, you have to let this junior be a ghost that understands. You came to find me without any reason, this junior really feels wronged. That's right. Fellow Daoist, do you think there's some misunderstanding? If there really is, then I'll be the host today to apologize to you. How about it? The first head quickly agreed. He had always cared for the third head, his youngest brother, very much. He did not want his brother to lose his life because of something that did not matter to him. Misunderstanding. Seeing the three of them talking one after another, he did not feel touched. However, compared to the scene of the village being destroyed, this feeling was nothing. Yes, misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. Looking at the three of them, Lin Rei was very determined. "I followed your third brother all the way here. Do you think there's a misunderstanding?" "What, you?" Hearing this, the third head and the other two were shocked. They really did not expect it to be like this. Don't be so surprised. If you saw what your third brother did, then you wouldn't say that. It's just like the decision you made before. It's just that your decision was too light for those people who died. And the only thing that can make up for it is his life and the lives of all the people in that village. Only their lives can make up for those people." After saying that, Lin Rei's eyes became colder and colder. The surrounding temperature began to slowly drop because of Lin Rei's anger. The lives of tens of thousands of ordinary people were killed by your third brother just like that. In the cultivation world, there's already a rule that cultivators are not allowed to kill ordinary people. However, your third brother did it. Moreover, he did it very thoroughly, so. His life, none of you should even think about keeping it. He moved. Lin Rei took a step forward and walked towards the third head. His speed was not very fast. However, every step he took left a mark in everyone's heart. It was like a sledgehammer that heavily pounded on their hearts. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the three of them were suddenly enlightened. At the same time, Two of them looked at their third brother with a complaining gaze. They did not expect that this matter would be targeted by such an expert. Moreover, the expert even followed them to their own cave. The third head was even more vexed. He did not expect that his whereabouts would be tracked. If he knew it would be like this, he would not have come back even if he was beaten to death. Unfortunately, everything was too late. The people were killed, the village was destroyed, and the expert had come. Everything had a cause and effect. Tendo's reincarnation was finally over. No, no, I still don't want to die. No, I don't. I don't want to die. Seeing that death was slowly approaching, the third head went crazy. He turned his head and looked at his elder brother. Plop. The third head directly kneeled down. He sobbed and begged the first head, Big brother, save me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Don't you love me the most? You help me. Help me, please, big brother. Looking at his third brother, the second head at the side could not stand it anymore. At this point, he understood that there was no possibility of turning the situation around. Especially after seeing Lin Rei's determined expression, looking at the third head, the second head said powerlessly, Third brother, there is no possibility of turning the situation around. Although those people you killed were only ordinary people, they were also living in the Great Tao, living in the reincarnation cycle. Everything is determined. Karma is reincarnation. Now that you have killed them, that is the cause. And the death you are about to face is the effect. The cycle of karma, the beginning and end of reincarnation, cannot be changed. This. Hearing his second brother's words, the first head was stunned. He originally wanted to attack, but he stopped. Yes, ordinary people are also living in the Great Tao. Saying that, the first head looked at his third brother and said, Third brother, a man should take responsibility for his own actions. Although I really want to save you, tens of thousands of people is not a small number. Moreover. Saying that, his eyes fell on Lin Rei. He said, I can't defeat this person. I can feel that even if my master comes personally, he might not be able to defeat him. So. Accept your fate. Boom. Hearing those two words, the third head's body trembled. It was as if he was struck by lightning. He was stunned on the spot. His mind was blank. His eyes were lifeless as he stared blankly ahead. Seeing the arrival of death, he understood the feeling of death. Your two brothers are not bad. They understand the cycle of karma and the cycle of karma. Not bad. If the world is filled with people like them, will the law of survival in this world be different? Coming to the third head side, he shook his head. He understood that his idea was simply a fool's dream. The weak were prey to the strong, and the survival of the fittest. This law was formed when the sky was opened. It could not be changed. Die. Lin Rei's eyes flashed with killing intent. The illusory spirit blood fire rushed out of his body. Saying that, Lin Rei's palm came to the third head's body. The moment the illusory spirit blood fire touched the third head's body, it was like a maggot in his bones. It started from his skin, then his meridians, and finally his Dan Palace and Spirit Sea. Whether it was his soul or his Dan Palace, the moment it was touched by the illusory spirit blood fire, it was as if the flame had found a place to ignite. A hysterical scream came out of the third head's mouth. At this moment, he was rolling on the ground because of the pain. From inside to outside, there was no place that the illusory spirit blood fire did not go to. Senior, aren't you going too far? If you want my third brother to live, you can just kill him. But that's right. Senior, please reconsider. Even if my third brother did something wrong in the past, he has already learned his lesson. Can you make him suffer less? My third brother has always been protected by me and my eldest brother since he was young. He has never suffered much, so, hearing this, Lin Rei looked at the two of them. His expression was touched. He saw the definition of brothers in their eyes. Brothers. This word had not appeared in Lin Rei's heart for a long time. His brother was still in the Xuanzong sect. Brother. After muttering to himself, he came back to his senses. Looking at the two of them, he nodded in agreement. All right, since you two are so close, I will fulfill your request. Ah, thank you. Thank you, senior. Seeing that Lin Rei had agreed, the two of them were excited. Seeing their brother in such pain, they also felt guilty. After all, this was not what they wanted to see. But there was nothing they could do. Their brother was in the wrong. Seeing that your two elder brothers are quite sensible, I will give you a quick death. Looking at the flaming man on the ground, Lin Li murmured to himself, then stretched out his hand and pressed it against the third master's forehead. A wild surge of energy entered his body, instantly wiping out all of the third master's life force. In an instant, the third head who was still struggling because of the pain fell into silence. Thank you. Seeing that his third brother was no longer in pain, the first head expressed his thanks. Then, he went to the third head and squatted down to tidy up his body. It was strange that although the third head's body had been burned from the inside out by the illusory spirit blood fire, his face was not injured at all. Even his face was ruddy. If someone did not know him, they would definitely think that he was sleeping. This matter is over. As for the disciples who followed him, I will leave them to you. I don't like people lying to me, so don't do anything stupid. Hearing this, the first head did not look back. He said in a low voice, don't worry. Even if you don't say it, I will do it. After all, my third brother is gone. It is too unfair for them to stay here. Moreover, I don't want people like them to stay in my blood-soul stockade. So. I promise you. Well, that's good. Seeing that the first head was so straightforward, Lin Rei was also happy to be free. Big brother, third brother. At this time, the first head saw that Lin Rei did not intend to leave, so he asked through voice transmission. Although third brother did something wrong, he is still our brother. Since his matter is over, there is a new matter. As his elder brothers, how can we not avenge our brother's death? Chapter 939. Heh, I was still wondering when bandits would be so reasonable. Even when their own brothers were killed, they were still indifferent. Now, it seems that I was wrong. Looking at the first master who was crouching on the ground and holding his dead brother, Lin Rei sensed a murderous aura. He understood that this fellow was about to make a move. However, he could not figure out why he had to wait until after he killed his brother. Under normal circumstances, as an older brother, he would not allow others to harm his younger brother. However, at this moment, it was the complete opposite. As the saying went, there must be a demon behind the abnormality. Lin Rei vaguely felt that he had been tricked. He. Inexplicably, a cold laughter rang out in his mind. Hearing this voice, Lin Rei looked up at the first master who was crying with his head lowered. He was familiar with this voice. Wasn't it the first master who did not make a move earlier but said that he would take revenge later? Looking at him, Lin Li probed, speak. If you send a mental message, no one else will be able to hear it. I really want to know why you are acting like this. Logically speaking, shouldn't you have attacked before I even started killing? This is what most brothers would do. However, you are not like this. I really want to know, if you really want your third brother to die, why don't you do it yourself? Don't you think it's troublesome to kill him with a borrowed knife? It's not troublesome. Of course, it's not troublesome. As soon as Lin Li finished speaking, the first master hurriedly said, "Third bro only knows how to cause trouble, but so what? He has a powerful ancestor. No matter how much trouble he causes, there will always be someone to support him. What about me?" As he spoke, his tone changed, becoming fierce and ferocious. "As for me, no matter how great my talent is, so what? Without a powerful ancestor, at most, I'll be looked up to here, but I won't be fully respected by the Tao." Hearing the first master's words, Linley began to understand what he meant. But that wasn't right either. He could tell that the first master's talent was quite good, and that he would be able to get the respect he wanted anywhere he went. But, it's weird, isn't it? Perhaps the first master understood Lin Rei's doubts, so he quickly said, "Actually, this is very easy to understand. Although the outside world can indeed give me the respect I want, there are no Blood Soul Sect ruins outside." Blood Soul Sect? Lin Rei was very puzzled by this name. Lin Rei had never heard of this sect in the divine world. Even in the libraries of the few great sects, this name did not exist. However, for someone like the first elder to covet him and disregard the opinions of others, it was easy to imagine how valuable he was. The Blood Soul Sect had existed for who knew how many years. In fact, perhaps the entire God realm didn't even remember it. However, it had indeed existed. Moreover, its glory had only informed the God realm. The celestial realm and the entire mortal realm had been ruled by it. When the Blood Soul Sect was at its peak, it was extremely powerful. Although it had been defeated and destroyed, the treasures it had left behind were innumerable. Any one of those treasures would be enough to win. Especially when there was the inheritance of the Blood Soul Sect. If one could comprehend this kind of technique, not to mention other sects, even the master of the celestial realm would not be able to compete with it. The more the first master spoke, the more excited he became. Perhaps the Blood Soul Sect was too attractive, so much so that he had forgotten the existence of the second master beside him. "Big brother, you." Looking at such a repulsive big brother, the second master took a step back. His face was filled with fear and disbelief. This was the first time he had seen such a first master. The impression he had of the first master was that he was gentle and kind. But now, the person in front of him right now was completely different from the person in his mind. He was simply a negative example of the perfect big brother in his mind. "It's fine, second brother. That person killed third brother. Go and ask the old ancestor for help. If he knows about third brother's death, he will definitely come out to help. While you're away, I'll do my best to stop him and delay him until the ancestor arrives. Do you hear me?" He didn't want to linger on the second head's words, so he quickly changed the topic. It had to be said that the first master's ability to change the topic was very strong. The second master, who was still afraid, was stunned. Then, he nodded his head and said, "I understand, big brother. Is it really okay for you to stay here alone? Why don't I go quickly? Otherwise, it will be too late." Without waiting for the second master to finish his words, the first master directly reached out and grabbed the second master's wrist. Then, the second master's figure suddenly disappeared into the horizon. However, Lin Rei did not stop the first master's action. It was not because he was arrogant, but because there was really no need to do so. Looking at the first master's action, Lin Rei lightly opened his red lips and said, "Are you done? If you are, then do it. I really want to see what kind of capital you have. As for the ruins of the Blood Soul Sect, I am interested. So you can withdraw." Finishing his words, the primal chaos dragon spear appeared in his hand. Waves of dragon roars that shook the firmament continuously surged out from the spear. The sound was so loud that it made people feel suffocated. "Ah, your words are quite big. But do you think you have the chance?" Saying that, the first master acted. A long saber appeared in his hand. He raised it and pointed it at Lin Rei, saying with disdain, "Do you think you can do anything to me just because you killed the trash third brother? Do you really think I used all my strength just now? Ridiculous." AI. Looking at the first master, Lin Rei disdainfully shook his head. He did not want to explain too much to this kind of person. But seeing how stupid he was, Lin Rei could not bear it and finally said, "I really don't know where you get your confidence from. Is it because of your identity as the first master of the Blood Soul Stronghold? Or is it because of your middle-stage God-Emperor cultivation? Oh, or is it because of that old ancestor whom you asked that foolish brat to invite? You, how did you know that I?" Looking at Lin Rei, the first master widened his eyes. He had a startled expression. He did not tell anyone about his identity as a middle-stage God-Emperor. Even that old ancestor who was in closed-door cultivation for many years did not know about it. But, short-sighted. Lin Rei did not reply to the first master's question. Instead, he said to himself, "Yes, your talent is not bad. But with your short-sighted character, you are destined to stop here." So, finishing his words, he did not give the first master a chance to speak. With a flash, he appeared in front of the first master with the primal chaos dragon spear. He sneered, "With this little strength, it's good that you remembered to stop me. TSK, you are so formidable." Peng, a muffled sound followed by the sound of breaking through the air could be heard. One could see a black figure flying out rapidly. Pooh, lump of blood fog appeared in the air, followed by a painful cry. Pooh Tong, the black figure landed on the ground. He rolled on the ground for a long time before stopping with difficulty. The black figure was none other than the first master. It's just that at this moment, the first master's appearance was different from before. As it turned out, in the instant that Lin Li had arrived in front of the first master, he had thrown out his primal chaos dragon spear. The handle of the spear had smashed against the first master's body, causing the first master's body to fly backwards uncontrollably. It was precisely because of this that the current scene happened. "Ah, you are really weak." Looking at the first master who was lying on the ground and struggling to get up, Lin Rei said with disdain, "This is the strength that you want to rely on. In my eyes, you are nothing." Saying that, he appeared in front of the first master with a flash. Extending his hand, a suction force appeared, sucking the first master who was lying on the ground like a dead dog into his palm. "Kill then. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not knowing what is good for you. Originally, you could have had a relatively good life, but you did not know how to cherish it. You even want to die and want to kill me. I hope that there are many people like you, but those people were strangled in the cradle by me before they could kill me. I don't like the feeling of people staring at me and wanting to kill me, especially people like you who have a deep heart. Next time, you must be reincarnated into a good body. Don't think about having a deep heart like this for the rest of your life." Saying that, without giving the first master a chance to speak, he raised his hand and slapped the top of the first master's head with a destructive force. Sigh, was it going to be like this? Looking at Lin Rei, the first master regretted. He regretted making a move. He regretted having a murderous intent towards him. It was too late to say anything. Feeling that death was getting closer and closer to him, the first master finally chose to close his eyes and not look anymore. Just like that, he closed his eyes and waited for death to come. But who knew that when Lin Rei's palm was only a hand away from the first master's head, a tyrannical voice resounded in the air chat. Even Lin Rei was a little surprised. "How dare you?" He turned around and looked towards the direction of the voice. He saw two black figures rushing towards him from the sky. "Heh! Is that the great ancestor that this guy was talking about?" Looking at the two figures, one of them was the second master who was thrown out by the first master. This person's strength is very strong. Furthermore, the roar just now was mixed with a sound wave-type cultivation technique. Lin Rei could not help but be vigilant towards the person who appeared. From the roar just now, he could feel that the person's strength was very strong. Although his cultivation level was only at the intermediate ultimate god realm, his combat strength was not lower than the complete ultimate god realm. That was also the reason why Lin Rei was vigilant. Great! Great, the great ancestor is here. Looks like I'm not going to die yet. Hearing Lin Rei's soft voice, the first master opened his eyes. When he saw the person who came, the fire of hope reignited in his eyes. He always felt that as long as the great ancestor was here, he would not die yet. However, he did not know that the more he thought about it, the more Lin Rei wanted to kill him. As he said, if you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Especially for a person who had the intention to kill, so, how dare you? Hee, you shouldn't have said that to me because the more you act like this, the faster I will kill him. So, die. As he said that, he used the soul-searching technique to investigate all the information about the Blood-Soul Sect's ruins in the first master's mind. Then, the illusory spirit blood fire rushed out and spread to the first master's body. A blood-curdling scream was heard, but it only lasted for a moment and then there was no more sound. As for the first master, he was being carried by Lin Rei. His face was pale and his eyes were staring blankly ahead. In the distance, the two people came to Lin Rei. However, they were furious when they noticed that the person in Lin Rei's hand was dead. Bastard, who are you? Why did you come to my blood-soul stronghold and kill people so wantonly? The old man who came with the second master was not in a hurry to make a move. After all, he was already so old. If he did not understand the situation and rashly made a move, he would have died many times. Old ancestor, he killed big brother and third brother. At the side, when the second head saw that the person he invited did not take action and instead asked about the whole story, he immediately panicked when he recalled that he and the first head did not save the third head when he was about to die. If this matter was revealed by Lin Rei, would he still be alive? Would he still be the second master of the Blood-Soul Stronghold? The answer at that time was no. In order to not let everything he had now go to waste, the second head hurriedly said, "Old ancestor, third brother died in a very painful manner. Even when he died, he was still shouting for you to save him. However, things happened too quickly at that time, so, great ancestor, it's him. Third brother was tortured by him when he was alive. Great ancestor, you can't let him go. You must kill him. You must." The second master's face could not be seen clearly. However, Lin Rei knew that the person in front of him was on his must-kill list. Gong-er died in a very painful manner. Hearing the words from the side, the second master was stunned. His eyes were filled with tears. His originally stooped figure became even more stooped. He looked as if he was 1,000 years old. Yes, third brother died in a very painful manner. In the distance, Lin Rei was speechless when he heard the conversation between the two. However, he did not have the impulse to explain. With a cold snort, he threw the first master's body in his hand away and finally fell to the ground. However, at this moment, no one was paying attention to the body. The scene became silent and was filled with the smell of gunpowder. Do you want to make a move? Looking at the second master, Lin Rei spoke unhurriedly. His tone was full of indifference. I am Xuening, the founder of this blood-soul stronghold. Today, you came to my territory and did not greet me. However, you should not have killed my descendant. All right. Don't dawdle like a woman. If you want to make a move, hurry up. Haven't you heard the saying? If you can make a move, don't force it. You. The anger that was originally suppressed completely erupted the moment he heard Lin Rei's words. Humph, you have a glib tongue. However, I don't know how strong you are. When the time comes, sigh. Stop wasting time. Seeing that Xuanning was still talking, Lin Rei shook his head helplessly. A glint flashed in his eyes. Then, he clenched the Chaos Dragon Spear and rushed toward Xuanning. Martial God Stratagem. Lin Rei used the Martial God Stratagem. Lin Rei felt that it was necessary to fight against Xuanning. Not only him, but also the enemies that he encountered, whether weak or strong, as long as they fought with him, they were worthy of his final effort. Spear intent? Chapter 940. No, the power of law, you. Seeing the energy strangling towards him, Xuanning was taken aback and his expression changed drastically. The moment he sensed that what was rushing towards him was not spear intent but a law, he quickly reacted and flew backwards, trying to escape the range of the energy strangling. Why can't I move? Xuanning was stunned when he felt that his body was not listening to him. Cold sweat flowed down his forehead and his veins bulged. He frantically mobilized the spiritual power in his body to increase the output of his cultivation. Even so, the spiritual power in his body seemed to be isolated by some kind of energy. It was nothing to circulate in his body, but when the energy wanted to rush out of his body, it was isolated. It was like a rabbit that saw an eagle, retreating in fear. Xuanning was dumbfounded when he saw this scene. This was the first time in his life that something like this had happened to him. He had never heard of such a bizarre thing before. Oh, with such little strength, you dare to be so presumptuous in front of me? Lin Rei sneered when he saw Xuanning's pale face. Others might not understand, but he was very clear about the power of his martial god stratagem. As long as the martial god stratagem was used, the space within a 100-meter radius would become the battlefield of the person using the stratagem of martial god. It could be said that the person who could use the stratagem of martial god was the king within a 100-meter radius. He was the ruler of this 100-meter radius. Whoever he wanted to live, he had to live. Whoever he wanted to die, that person had to die. Of course, Lin Rei could not guarantee that he could kill someone at Xuanning's level in one blow. After all, an ultimate god was very powerful. Xuanning became anxious when he saw the palpitating energy getting closer and closer. No, I can't just sit here and wait for death. Xuanning was stunned when he looked up at the palpitating energy. A hint of hesitation flashed in his eyes. Do I really have to use that thing today? No, I can't die. His hesitation disappeared in an instant and was replaced by determination. Xuanning seemed to have made some kind of decision. Damn it, you forced me. Since that's the case, don't blame me for what happens next. Heaven is the law, earth is the foundation, space is the... A phrase similar to a cultivation method circulated in Xuanning's mouth in a low voice. However, at this moment, the energy that was originally restrained in her body broke free bit by bit while Xuanning was talking to herself. Strands of energy seeped out of her body. He was able to break free from the restraints of the martial god's taboo? As the king within 100 meters, he naturally understood the situation very well. The moment the energy in blood coagulation's body slowly seeped out, he knew. It seems that those who can become ultimate gods do have some ability. Not all of them are trash and piled up with pills. A smile appeared on his face. Lin Rei was not worried or anxious about Xuanning breaking free from the restraints. Instead, he was excited about it. After all, in his opinion, it was a very good thing that Xuanning could break free from the restraints. After all, this would make things very interesting. He did not add more restraints on Xuanning. Instead, he stopped attacking and quietly watched him, watching how Xuanning would break free from his martial god's taboo. Space / Xuanning shouted in a low voice. Then, a strange scene appeared. The space that was originally sealed by the martial god's taboo was unlocked after a low shout. The power of space? Looking at Xuanning, Lin Rei's eyes widened as a light flashed in them. Yes, this guy did use the power of space. However, the reason he could use the power of space was purely at the cost of his life. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the slightest ability to fight back against your martial god's taboo, let alone break it in one move. You're awake? Hearing the sudden explanation, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment before a smile appeared on his face. Yes. I just woke up. Seeing Lin Rei change the topic, the little dragon continued, this matter needs to be clarified. Although being able to use the power of space is a forbidden technique, it might bring you a surprise at a time like this. Hearing this, Lin Rei raised his head and looked at Xuanning's pale and ferocious face. He was stunned and puzzled. Are you sure you want to ask? It was not that Lin Rei did not believe him, but that Xuanning was in a very sorry state. Why would the space origin choose such a powerful cultivator? Nonsense. Xuanning rolled his eyes at Lin Rei. I say, are you stable or not? This is a matter of whether you can enter the holy world or not. Do you still think this is your own matter? No, you're wrong. This is also related to my physical body. Don't forget, you promised me. You can't go back on your word, or else. Hearing the urgency in the little dragon's tone, Lin Rei nodded helplessly. Okay, I understand. It's just a question. It's no big deal. Then, without waiting for the little dragon to speak again, he looked up at Xuanning and asked, Old man, where did you get the power of space you used just now? Of course, if you tell me, then we'll forget about today's matter. You and I can let you go and won't pursue this matter in the future. How about it? Looking at Xuanning, Lin Rei was afraid that he would not agree, so he continued, this is a profitable deal. I hope you can think about it carefully. What do you think? Ha, ha, a shrill laugh came out of Xuanning's mouth. Deal, no loss. Hee, what you said is really good. Raising his head to look at Linley, blood coagulation growled fiercely. To you, this really isn't a business transaction where you have to pay for your losses, but to me, this is a business transaction that will cost me my life. Oh? Hearing Xuanning's words, Lin Rei was puzzled. He did not understand what Xuanning meant. In his opinion, such a good deal should be snatched up by others, but you forgot so quickly? Seeing Lin Rei's puzzled expression, Xuanning was furious and had an impulse to come up with a solution at any time. Since you've forgotten, let me remind you. Xuanning looked at the corpse of the third boss and said, You killed my descendant. Do you think there's still a possibility of cooperation between us? Do you know that this is the last bloodline of my family? It's you. It's you who killed him. It's you who extinguished the hope of my family. It's you. Everything is because of you. This time, Lin Rei completely understood. So this was the reason. He was helpless about it. After all, time could not be reversed and the dead could not be resurrected. Alright, don't talk nonsense with him. Since he doesn't want to talk, we can only use force. At this moment, the little dragon was no longer silent. Facing such a person who did not know what was good for him, the little dragon would not spoil him. So arrogant? Seeing how the little dragon acted, Lin Rei was a little speechless for a moment. Nonsense, hurry up. Otherwise, give me the body and I'll take him down for you. How about it? After saying that, the little dragon appeared in front of Lin Rei in a flash and looked at Lin Rei with a pair of excited eyes. You. Don't look at me like that. Lin Rei was defeated after one round of eye contact with the little dragon. Alright, I really lose to you. Then, with a thought, he passed the control of the body to the little dragon. With the previous experience, it was much easier this time. But the only bad thing was that every time the little dragon used it, his body would ache to death. It couldn't be helped because the little dragon's cultivation level was high while his cultivation level was only in the divine venerable realm. It feels good to have a body. The little dragon who occupied Lin Rei's body stretched its body and revealed a long-lost expression. Nonsense. Seeing the little dragon like this, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel guilty. Thinking about how the little dragon risked its life to save him along the way, Lin Rei felt very guilty towards the little dragon. However, the little dragon didn't know about the guilt in Lin Rei's heart at all. At this moment, he only wanted to sweat as much as he could. After all, there weren't many opportunities like this. Watch carefully, it's your honor to see me in action, said Lin Rei to Lin Rei. In the next moment, Lin Rei's body directly froze on the spot. Xuanning, who was angrily staring at him, didn't notice this at all. Young man, I really don't know what you're trying to do. However, at this moment, Xuanning blinked and a mature voice came from behind him. You clearly had a chance to live just now but you didn't want it. You had to wait for this old man to appear before you obediently submit. Really? You? At this moment, Xuanning was stunned. He didn't expect the voice to come from behind him. He raised his head and looked at the place where Lin Rei was standing. At this moment, it was already empty. How could it be, you? He turned around and wanted to see clearly, but he had the chance to see Lin Rei. No, it was the little dragon who was controlling Lin Rei's body. Could he? The answer was, of course, no. Pa! A crisp sound was heard. Lin Rei, the little dragon, clapped his hands and pressed directly on Xuanning's head. A powerful and strange energy directly penetrated and began to read Xuanning's life memories. Damn, this old man has done a lot of bad things. More importantly, he's actually a trader of the equipment refining sect. This is really interesting. Little by little, after the little dragon finished reading Xuanning's memories, a strange smile appeared on his face. Then, a powerful energy gushed out from his palm and poured into Xuanning's body through the palm that pressed on Xuanning's head. A hysterical scream of pain came from Xuanning's mouth. His whole face was extremely ferocious. At this moment, Xuanning could no longer be described as a human. At this moment, Xuanning could be described as a wild beast. Looking at his red eyes, ferocious face, and murderous aura, Lin Rei really didn't know how else to describe Xuanning as a wild beast. It's quite old to be a fool, but this old man still doesn't feel at ease. After all, the tightest mouth in the world is a dead person, so, kill. After saying that, a murderous aura flashed across the little dragon's body. His hands exerted force and a powerful aura appeared in Xuanning's body at the same time. The scream became even more intense, but the little dragon didn't stop. After all, this was to kill Xuanning. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. The originally living person in front of the red light exploded in an instant. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Lin Rei's body was covered in blood. The scene was extremely terrifying and unbearable to look at. If a timid person saw this scene at this moment, needless to say, they would be able to imagine what was going on. Moreover, at this moment, Lin Rei was standing in the same place, covered in blood. Even his feet were covered in minced flesh. The scene was extremely terrifying. At this moment, Lin Rei was like a demon, causing people to not dare to look at him directly. *CK, Xiaolong, have you gone crazy? At this moment, Linli, who was hiding in a corner of his physical body, flew into a rage when he saw everything that was happening. He didn't feel good at all. Originally, Lin Rei thought that the little dragon would just kill him directly. However, he never expected that the little dragon's actions this time were completely beyond the scope of his understanding. This kind of person deserves to die. I thought this kind of death was too easy for this guy. Seeing the vicious look on Xiaolong's face, Linli knew that there must be something strange going on. Tell me, what's going on? Why do you hate it so much? Linli asked. Sigh. Understanding Lin Rei's doubts, the little dragon opened its mouth and told him what it saw. This guy cultivated a kind of cultivation method, and the key to this cultivation method is to use the essence of newborn boys and girls. You have to know that spiritual energy is very important to cultivators, let alone a newborn child. If a cultivator of his level were to use the spirit chi of children, he would be able to absorb all of the children's spirit chi with a casual absorption. Also, I took a rough look just now. There are about 100,000 children's lives. Do you think I can handle such a person? Bastard. Lin Rei didn't want to say anything. He didn't expect this old guy to be so crazy. Although Lin Rei boasted that he wasn't a good person, at least he wouldn't do something so immoral. Forget it, it's not worth getting angry at someone like Ken. Besides, he's already dead. In this life. No, it should be that he doesn't have a next life. His soul has completely disappeared from this world. No matter who it is, they can forget about reviving him. Saying that, as if he had vented his anger, he withdrew from control of his body with a thought. Lin Rei regained control of his body the moment the little dragon withdrew. How about it, did you think about the origin of space? Do you know how to read things? Not wanting to be entangled in the matter just now, Lin Rei quickly changed the topic. Found it. Seeing Lin Rei get up, the system said in his heart, what this old guy used just now was indeed a spatial technique, and this spatial technique was given to him by the origin of space. What? Lin Rei was shocked. Could it be? Chapter 941. That's right. Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon smiled and said, You're right. His spatial technique was imparted by the space origin, but the price to use this move is very high. You saw it just now. Pointing at the pile of flesh on the ground, she continued, the price to use it once may be 1,000 years of life, 10,000 years, or even more. And this move can't be used continuously. It can be said that it's of little value to him. After all, he didn't really use my spatial laws. Listening to the little dragon's explanation, Rode nodded. But he was a little puzzled. Since the space origin could impart techniques to him, why didn't it impart spatial laws to him? Besides, this move was clearly a deadly move. Of course, it could also be used as a life-saving move, but most people wouldn't use it under normal circumstances. Don't be confused. It's very simple. Understanding Linli's confusion and puzzlement, he said, just now, when I was investigating, I saw that he accidentally acquired something beneficial to the prime essences of space. Thus, in exchange, the prime essences of space taught him this technique. What is it? He asked without hesitation. He wanted to know what it was that could make the space origin react this way. Origin fruit pulp. What? Origin. Origin fruit pulp? Lin Rei was unfamiliar with this term. It could be said that he had never heard of it. But judging from the word, he understood the general meaning. Yes, origin fruit pulp. Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon smiled and said, this thing is very rare. It can be said to be a once-in-a-lifetime. No, a once-in-a-million-years thing. Get to the point. Lin Rei didn't want to listen to nonsense. He rolled his eyes and retorted. The little dragon was helpless against Lin Rei's insistence, but in the end, she went along with him. Origin fruit pulp. To put it nicely, it's a very precious thing that is beneficial to all origins. But to put it bluntly, it's a carrier of energy that can improve or repair origins. At this point, the little dragon looked up at Lin Rei and said, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" Lin Rei did not respond to the little dragon's foolish question. "All right." Seeing that Lin Rei chose to ignore it, the little dragon smiled awkwardly and continued, "This kind of thing is very rare in this world. Basically, only one can grow in each realm. Moreover, the environment where it grows is unknown. When it blossoms and bears fruit is even more unknown. Only those with great luck can find it." Hearing this, Lin Rei looked at the pile of flesh on the ground and was stunned. **CK, this is considered a person of great fortune? Lin Rei was a little skeptical. After all, he had seen Xuegu's performance just now, so, that. Understanding Lin Rei's thoughts, the little dragon coughed softly and said awkwardly, "Well, maybe it's because this thing has killed too many people, so his luck has long been scattered by the killing intent." Lin Rei basically couldn't listen to the little dragon's words anymore. He suspected that the little dragon's story was wrong. "Tell me, where did Xuegu find the space origin?" Lin Rei looked at the little dragon and corrected himself. The little dragon didn't find Lin Rei's words strange. After all, this seemed like something Lin Rei would do. "North region, deep in the mysterious underworld mountain." "What? North region, mysterious underworld mountain?" Lin Rei was shocked. The location of the space origin mentioned by the little dragon was exactly the same as the information he obtained in the Red House. Regarding this, Lin Rei was even more confident in the Red House. TSK. That Red House is not bad. The information you obtained and my information are in the same place. This means that even if this place doesn't have the real space origin, there will be other valuable things. Yes. That's right. Lin Rei nodded in agreement to the little dragon's words. However, he was still the same. The space origin was in the Dark Abyss Valley. This way, he wouldn't have to waste his energy to go to other places. All right. Since you already know the whereabouts of the space origin, let's move quickly. You're just wasting your time here. She couldn't help but urge Lin Rei to move after he obtained the whereabouts of the space origin. Understood. He didn't refute. He understood that there was nothing here that he couldn't control. He had even completed Shadow's request. As he thought this, he looked up at the second master, who was sitting on the ground, his face filled with terror and his eyes glazed over. Looking at him, Lin Li laughed coldly. He had originally wanted to kill him, but then he thought about how if he did that, the other bandits in the stronghold would go out of control and wreak havoc. "Brat, I have a request. As long as you agree, I won't kill you. Do you agree?" Suddenly, a thought appeared in his mind and he looked at the second boss. Hearing this, the frightened second boss hurriedly raised his head and pricked up his ears. His body trembled as he lightly opened his red lips and softly replied, You can say it." His voice was very soft. It was as if Lin Rei would do something to him if he spoke louder. Lin Rei was also speechless at the second boss's caution. He didn't think that such an expert wouldn't have the heart of an expert. However, Lin Rei didn't care about this. After all he wanted was for the second boss to keep an eye on the remaining bandits and not let them go out to wreak havoc. Thinking about this, he shook his head with a bitter smile and said to the second boss, "My request is very simple. I won't kill you, but you have to promise to keep an eye on the remaining bandits in the stronghold and not let them go out to harm others. For you, this is very simple. Of course, if I find out that you don't do as I say and encourage them to kill, then don't even talk about death. I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death and what it means to suffer." Murderous intent appeared in his cold eyes. The instant the second boss felt this coldness, he quickly nodded and replied, "Yes, yes, yes." Just as Lin Rei had said, as the second boss of the stronghold, he could easily fulfill the conditions that Lin Rei had mentioned. For a person who wanted to break down mentally and live, how could he not agree to such a thing? Ah, don't agree so quickly. Although this is simple, it's a bit difficult to do. I don't want to despair. When I come to inspect, I'll see a different scene. With that, he took out a soul-controlling pill from his storage ring and handed it to the second boss. Lin Rei didn't know if the soul-controlling pill was still effective. After all, ever since he reached the God realm, he rarely used this kind of thing. He wasn't sure if it had any effect on the God realm. "Eat it. Eat it and I'll let you go." Looking at the pill in front of him, the second boss looked at Lin Rei and asked, "Can I eat it?" "That's right. As long as you eat it, I'll let you go." Lin Rei nodded. Gulp. After getting Lin Rei's confirmation, the second boss didn't even think about it. He wasn't even afraid that it was poison. He reached out and stuffed it into his mouth, then swallowed it. The pill melted in his mouth. Of course, the second boss didn't have time to think about anything else. As for the pill fragrance in his mouth, he couldn't care less. Right now, he only had one thought, and that was to make Lin Rei leave as soon as possible. The further he went, the better. It would be best if he never appeared again. Seeing the second boss swallow the pill, Lin Rei thought that he had failed. Time slowly passed, but there was no change. Sigh, it seems that this soul-controlling pill only works on, plop. Just when Lin Rei thought that the soul-controlling pill had failed, the second boss jumped up from the ground and knelt in front of Lin Rei. He cupped his hands and kowtowed. The respect and reverence in his eyes, coupled with the sound of his head kowtowing to the ground, made Lin Rei's heart jump. A smile appeared on his face. He knew that the soul-controlling pill had successfully controlled the second boss. Regarding this, Lin Rei had a new understanding of the power of the soul-controlling pill. This was because this was the first time he had tried it on someone at the deity level. With this experiment, he believed that the stock of pills he had would be used up very quickly. "Get up." He waved his hand to the second boss to get him up. "I'll leave this to you. Don't let me down. When I get angry, even I'm afraid of myself. I hope you won't let me down." Plop. He knelt down again. Zhenzhong nodded. "Master, don't worry. I'll definitely complete the task you gave me seriously. I won't let those people go out and harm the surrounding villages." "Good. That's good." At this moment, Lin Rei didn't have any worries. With the help of the soul-controlling pill, he believed that the second boss wouldn't go against his will. "Alright, get up. I'll leave this place to you. If there's anything in the future, you can send me a message through the sound-transmitting jade slip." After all, the second boss was his subordinate now. Although he was slightly dissatisfied with his previous behavior, he was still his subordinate. He could bully his people, but if others wanted to bully them, he wouldn't allow it. "Yes, I understand." He got up and received the sound-transmitting jade slip from Lin Rei's hand. Then he stood aside obediently and respectfully. After scanning the surroundings, Lin Rei nodded. He waved his hand and set up a venerable level array that he had prepared long ago. The array enveloped the entire stronghold. After doing all this, Lin Rei nodded. He glanced at the second boss, turned around and disappeared in a flash. "Remember, I'll leave this place to you. No matter who violates the rules set by me, there's only one ending, that is, death." The melodious voice came into the second boss's ears. The second boss shivered and hurriedly bowed. Outside the stronghold, Lin Rei hid Ing behind a mountain rock. They kept sensing the situation in the stronghold with their divine senses, but just now, their divine senses were isolated by a sudden array. They were very anxious about it. It's like this every time. Why can't it make us less worried? Yes, we should have followed him in. No matter how my husband insisted, we should have gone in. At least we could watch him and guard him. At this moment, the two of them were so anxious that they didn't notice at all that behind them, their so-called husband, Linley, had already appeared. Furthermore, he had heard everything they had just said. Looking at his wife's anxious appearance, Lin Rei felt warm in his heart. He stretched out his hands and said to his two wives, "Thank you for your concern, my wife. However, you have too little confidence in your husband. No matter what, your man has killed a saint before." You, feeling that their bodies were controlled, their first reaction was to counterattack. However, just as they were about to attack, they heard an anxious voice. In response, the two of them hurriedly withdrew the energy they had gathered. With a blushing face, they leaned on Lin Rei. "Humph, stinky husband, you took so long to come out. Do you know how worried we were?" "Yes, yes, yes. We were so worried about you. Our divine senses were isolated just now, which made us even more anxious." Hearing their words, Lin Rei hurriedly comforted them. Okay, this matter is over. Aren't I standing in front of you?" In order to reassure them, Lin Rei told them the decision he had made in his heart. "Don't worry. Next time, I will definitely take you with me." "Really?" Hearing this, the two women suddenly stood up from Lin Rei and said in surprise, "Are you serious? Take us with you in the future?" "Yes, husband, you can't go back on your words. If you go back on your words, you will be a puppy." Looking at the two women's doubts, Lin Rei suddenly felt very embarrassed. However, facing his two wives, Lin Rei could only nod and agree. Okay. Like you said, if you do it again, then, like Bing said, if you go back on your words, you will be a puppy. The two women looked at each other and nodded. Okay, we believe in our husband. Okay, that's right. Seeing that the matter was finally clear, the two women smiled and looked at me proudly. Okay, since there is no problem, let's hurry up and meet with Sakura. Now that the space origin is confirmed to be in the Xianming Valley in the northern region, we must subdue and refine it. A touch of determination flashed in Lin Rei's eyes. Whether I can successfully advance to the Sage Realm or not depends on whether I can subdue the space origin this time. Seeing that their husband was so determined, the two women didn't say anything and obediently shut their mouths. They knew the severity of the matter. In the face of such a matter, as smart women, they should choose to remain silent. "Let's go." Seeing that the two women were silent, Lin Rei joked. Then, he hugged the two women's slender waists and rushed into the sky toward the Xianming Valley in the northern region. His speed was so fast that it was as if he was crossing the sky. It was so fast that it left people speechless. Time was something that couldn't be seen or touched. It was as fleeting as a white steed flitting by a crack. On the peak of the earthly lingering mountain in the northern region, a man, a woman, and a rabbit were standing at the peak and looking around as if they were waiting for someone or something to come. Sakura, are you sure that Lin Rei will come today and let us wait here?" The rabbit couldn't help but ask. Chapter 942. Lin Rei's words are always punctual. He will be back as soon as he says so. So, let's wait for a while. I believe he will definitely be back. By then, I will introduce you to him. He didn't turn around and continued to scan the surroundings, trying to find Lin Rei's whereabouts. Rabbit didn't know what to say about Sakura's persistence. He wanted to dissuade him, but looking at Sakura's serious expression, Rabbit chose to remain silent in the end. At the side, Tian Ning's heart skipped a beat when she saw Sakura's reaction. Then, like Rabbit, she didn't say anything. At this moment, not far away from the Earth Spirit Mountain, 3 people were crossing the void and rushing madly towards the Earth Spirit Mountain. The only man among them was looking ahead anxiously, as though he was searching for something. It's over, it's over. I didn't expect to be late. I hope Sakura has the patience to wait. Otherwise, we will have to wait for a while to meet him. Husband, don't be anxious. I believe Sakura will definitely wait. At the side, the blue-clothed woman persuaded. At this moment, if Sakura saw the appearance of the 3 people, he would definitely recognize who they were. They were none other than Lin Rei and the others who set off from the Blood Soul Stockade. After 2 months, the 3 of them finally arrived at a place not far away from the Earth Spirit Mountain. Originally, they had agreed on a time with Sakura, but due to some unavoidable reasons, they were late. Sakura, who was at the peak of the Earth Spirit Mountain, was still waiting foolishly. It shouldn't be. Normally, Lin Rei wouldn't eat. What happened this time? Sakura was stunned when he saw that a long time had passed since the agreed time. Of course, he wouldn't think that Lin Rei was injured or killed because it was impossible. Others might not know, but Sakura, who was his clone, was very clear about how powerful his main body was. In the divine world, Lin Rei was undoubtedly standing at the peak. Therefore, the combat strength of the people in the divine world was no match for Lin Rei. Of course, if it was the holy world, there might be someone who could hurt Lin Rei. As time passed, Rabbit, who didn't think highly of Lin Rei, became even more irritable. She looked like she wouldn't leave if he didn't leave. I say, Sakura, is this the Lin Rei that you were talking about, the one who's never late and always on time? A hint of ridicule was obvious. Tian Ning wanted to stop this, but when she thought of Rabbit's personality and the fact that Lin Rei was indeed late, it was inconvenient for her to speak. In the end, she retreated to the side and remained silent. He turned a blind eye to the rabbit's actions and observed it with a silent attitude. Seeing the rabbit saying so, Sakura wanted to refute, but the moment he blurted out the word "I," he choked because he didn't know what else to say. After all, it was a fact that Lin Rei was late. Alas! Forget it. Since that's the case, let's hurry over. As for Lin Rei, let's leave a message for him. When he comes, let's ask him to go to a city not far ahead to look for us. What do you think? As she said that, she looked at Sakura, as if she wanted to get his permission. Sakura wanted to refuse, but Rabbit had already said it. Tian Ning, who was at the side, was also waiting for the result with an expectant gaze. Sakura swallowed the words that he wanted to refuse. Then, he smiled awkwardly and nodded in agreement. All right. Since Lin Rei didn't come on time and we've been waiting here for such a long time, let's go. As he said that, the sword from the flute appeared in his hand and he started to draw on a clean and spacious stone. On it, 3 words appeared on the stone: "I'll wait for you in the city ahead." Sakura writes. At the side, looking at Sakura's technique, her eyes suddenly lit up. She took a step forward and wanted to observe Sakura's words at a close distance. But before she could do so, Rabbit saw through her thoughts and immediately stepped forward to stop her. Let's go. There are many good things waiting for you ahead. Sakura could only express his speechlessness. At the same time, he knew that Tian Ning couldn't resist this at all. As expected, as soon as Rabbit said those words, her eyes, which were still fixed on Sakura's words, glinted abruptly. She turned around and strolled slowly toward the city without hesitation. As he walked, he couldn't help but urge Sakura and Rabbit. I say, can you guys hurry up? Why are you dawdling? Hurry up. Facing Tian Ning's words, both Sakura and Bunny felt helpless. There was even a moment when Bunny regretted saying those words. Sigh, why is a murderous incarnation so different? Sakura pondered for a long time while looking at Tian Ning's back and finally found the words to describe her. Done. I didn't expect Tian Ning to be so reluctant to part with the life here. Rabbit looked at Tian Ning and a touch of tenderness emerged in her heart. But it's fine as long as she's happy. Let me protect her and become her guardian angel. Sakura's heart skipped a beat upon hearing Rabbit's words. He wanted to say something, but he didn't say anything. Let's go. In the end, he blurted out these two words. Then, he took a step forward and instantly vanished on the spot, chasing after Tian Ning. TSK, you brat. Rabbit was taken aback when she saw Sakura taking the lead. Then, she chuckled and chased after him. Swish swish, not long after Sakura and the other two left, 3 more sounds of breaking through the air could be heard. In the blink of an eye, 3 people appeared on the peak of the Earth Spirit Mountain, which was where Sakura and the other 2 were at previously. The 3 of them landed. The man among them scanned the surroundings with his divine senses and a touch of disappointment emerged. It seems like we're still too late. Sakura must have left. Yeah. After all, it's been a long time since dinner. Even if Sakura can wait, the 2 of them won't. Seeing her husband's disappointed look, Ing quickly stepped forward and said, I'll wait for you in the city ahead. Sakura, right? Just when Lin Rei was silent, a voice came from the side. It was none other than one of his wives, Shun Bing. Husband, take a look and see if that was written by Sakura. Pointing at the stone with words on it, she reminded Linley. Words. Shun Bing looked at the direction she was pointing at. She saw more than 10 words appearing in front of her eyes. The disappointment on her face instantly disappeared and was replaced by a smile. It seems like Sakura and the others have indeed come. It's just that they couldn't wait for us and left first. Let's go. Since he's waiting in the city ahead, we can't be late this time. Without waiting for the 2 of them to react, 2 bursts of energy emerged, directly wrapping the 2 of them. Then Linley took a step and left the place at his fastest speed, chasing in the direction that Sakura had told him to go. At this moment, Sakura didn't know that the distance between them and Lin Rei was already very close. Lin Rei. What kind of person is Lin Rei? Why were you so determined that he wouldn't be late? The sudden words made Sakura at the side stunned. Then, a smile appeared on his face. Him. He's the kind of person who will definitely take revenge. He will never leave any future troubles for himself. Even if a person has the intention to kill him, then that person has already stepped on the path of the 9 underworlds. No matter how powerful that person is, as long as that person dares, Lin Rei will be able to send him into the 9 underworlds. He can even make him disappear from the great Tao of heaven and earth as if that person had never appeared. Is that so? Hearing Sakura's evaluation of Lin Rei, Tian Ning at the side was stunned. This kind of person was very dangerous to her. Even when she heard Sakura's introduction to Linley just now, she had a feeling of déjà vu. It was as if Sakura wasn't talking about Linley, but the desolate land's demon Lord Rahu. That kind of person would haggle over the smallest grievances. Yes, that's right. Without hesitation, Sakura nodded. Lin Rei is such a person. He relied on his own efforts to cultivate step by step from a small foreign world. No one can understand the hardships of the journey. No matter how dangerous the path ahead is, as long as Lin Rei encounters it, he will do everything to eliminate it. Of course, this is when facing enemies. Lin Rei will do such a crazy thing. Indeed, when facing friends, just like you, Lin Rei won't be like what I said just now. Instead, he will do as he pleases. With regards to Sakura's explanation to Lin Rei, Tian Ning had a rough understanding of Lin Rei. At the side, seeing Tian Ning keeping silent, Sakura thought that she had some thoughts about Lin Rei. He even thought that his words just now were a little abrupt. Sakura immediately explained, actually, Lin Rei isn't just like that. He is a very good person. Take me for example. I am the one he wanted. Moreover, the sword and the flute in my hand was once his weapon before he gave it to me. After speaking, the sword and the flute in Sakura's hand trembled slightly. A sword cry broke through the jade flute's restriction and resounded in the air. Huh? What's going on? Looking at the sword and the flute in his hand, Sakura was startled. His face was filled with puzzlement. It was his first time seeing the sword and the flute being out of control. Clap, clap, just when Sakura and the others were silent, a clapping sound came from behind. Accompanying the clapping was a man's voice. Huh, not bad. I didn't expect Sakura's evaluation of that person to be so pertinent. Huh? Halt. Who are you? Among Sakura and the other two, Rabbit's reaction was the fastest. He instantly appeared in front of Sakura and Tian Ning, protecting the two of them. Following that, an enormous killing intent burst out from his body. His voice was the complete opposite of Sakura's. At this moment, only coldness and killing intent could be heard from Rabbit's mouth. You are the incarnation of slaughter? Looking at the sudden appearance of Rabbit, the person who was clapping his hands was startled. He immediately asked. You? Who exactly are you? Seeing the person in front of him saw through his true form with a single glance, Rabbit felt as though his tail was clamped. He was furious and immediately flew into a rage. Not bad. Such killing intent is indeed not something I can compare with. Feeling the killing intent from Rabbit, Lin Rei was startled. He immediately spoke. Speak. Who are you? Looking at the mysterious person, Rabbit didn't recognize him. Of course, he also recognized the person who was clapping his hands. He was none other than Lin Rei. However, because he was afraid of trouble, he changed his appearance. Not only him, even the two women behind him also hid their appearance like Lin Rei. Therefore, Rabbit, who had seen Lin Rei's true appearance, didn't know that the person he was facing right now was Lin Rei, Sakura's true form. Lin, don't say it. Let me see how strong she is first. Looking at Sakura, before he could open his mouth and reveal his identity, Lin Rei transmitted a message to him to remain silent. Is this okay? Looking at Lin Rei, Sakura scratched his head awkwardly. He didn't expect that Lin Rei would have such a side to him. It's fine. Don't worry. Knowing that Sakura wasn't assured, Lin Rei cast a reassuring glance at him. Then, he turned to Rabbit and said, Little Rabbit, let me see what you're capable of. Let's see if you're stronger than me. Great. I haven't eaten much along the way. I wonder if my strength will increase a little after eating you. Sakura was helpless against Lin Rei's words, but he didn't dare to step forward and stop him. Seeing that the battle was about to start, Tian Ning, who pondered for a long time, revealed a smile and took a step forward to Rabbit's side. What are you doing here? Hurry up and go back. I can feel that this guy is really strong. Looking at Tian Ning, Rabbit said sternly. Yes, that's right. With the two of you together, it can be considered a complete kill. Seeing Tian Ning stepping forward, Lin Rei nodded. But I don't know how powerful the two of you are when you join hands. Saying that, an incomparably powerful battle intent surged from his body. It was apparent how much he wanted to have a heart-wrenching battle. Ha! A chuckle escaped from Tian Ning's mouth. Then, she cupped her hands and bowed to Lin Rei. Daoist Lin, since you're here, why don't you show your true face? Daoist. Lin? Rabbit, who was ready, heard Tian Ning's words, and her brain short-circuited. Taoist Lin Ray. Ignoring Rabbit, Tian Ning said bluntly, I wasn't sure at first. But it seems that Sakura's appearance is a little strange. Moreover, you revealed Sakura's identity as soon as you arrived. So, you must be the original Lin Ray that he mentioned. Silence. The smoke from the battle had faded away. Linley, who was brimming with battle intent, was instantly dispirited upon hearing Tian Ning reveal his identity. It was as though he was a man who couldn't resist the fire of lust and had his cold water vapor penetrated. Lin Ray, I didn't say that. She came out herself. At that moment, Sakura hurriedly stepped forward and said. Tisk, boring. Looking at Tian Ning and Sakura, Lin Ray shook his head helplessly. Originally, I wanted to fight with Xiaofan. I didn't expect you to be so smart to be able to reveal my true identity. Saying that, Lin Ray knew that he was exposed. He didn't hide it anymore and removed the disguise on his face, revealing his true face to the three of them. Damn, you. Chapter 943. Lin Ray's true appearance appeared in front of the rabbit. Having seen Lin Ray's true appearance before, the rabbit recognized him at a glance. Wasn't this the person who had communicated with Sakura back then? Inexplicably, a sense of foreboding welled up in her heart. At the same time, she understood that if they really fought, she would probably lose just as Sakura had said. Of course, this was only her guess. Even if she didn't lose, she wouldn't win either. At most, it would be a draw. Hee. Lin Ray turned his head and glanced at the rabbit. Looking at him, he said with a smile, you must be the Dubhe rabbit. You're very strong, and your murderous aura is not something that I can compare to. I admit that. Of course. Why don't you look at me? Hearing this, the rabbit's heart skipped a beat and a proud expression appeared on his face. However, before he could finish speaking, Lin Ray's voice appeared again. However, the meaning of his words this time was completely different from before. Although your murderous aura is very strong, if you really go all out, you will die. You can deny this, but it's a fact. Lin Ray wouldn't lie about this. Just now, Lin Ray had a rough understanding of the Dubhe rabbit situation. Of course, if it was the complete origin of the murderous aura, perhaps Lin Ray would be afraid. After all, the origin of the murderous aura had already surpassed that of a Dao fruit saint. At this moment, his full combat strength was at most comparable to a late-stage Dao fruit cultivator. As for a perfected Dao fruit saint, Lin Ray couldn't kill him, but he could escape from him. As for beyond that, he couldn't do anything. After all, his strength was limited and his realm was limited. He was sure that he could indeed enter the saint realm. Even if he had just entered the saint realm, a perfected Dao fruit saint was nothing in front of him. He wanted to refute on the spot. In any case, he was in existence with the origin of the murderous aura. Although he had been forced to split into two, he was still an existence that stood at the peak of the Dao. Now, he was being belittled by the person in front of him. Lin Ray, that's enough. We've only just arrived, and I haven't even heard of your poisonous tongue. Can't we sit down and discuss what to do next? At this moment, he understood that the heavenly pivot rabbit was unhappy. Without waiting for the heavenly pivot rabbit to speak, Sakura hurriedly spoke to Lin Ray. You have to know why you came here this time. Space origin. Offending the heavenly pivot rabbit like this, isn't it? As he spoke, Indra blinked his eyes awkwardly. Linley chuckled at Sakura's reaction. Then, he turned to Tian Ning and chuckled. I didn't expect you to be someone who values women over friends. Now that you have a wife, you've forgotten about a loyal comrade like me? You. Sakura understood what Lin Rei was referring to. Although she felt that Lin Rei's words were a little out of line, she couldn't help but sweep a glance at Tian Ning the instant she heard Lin Rei's words. Then, a blush surfaced on her cheeks. Damn, it's over, it's over. The 1,000-year-old sago tree doesn't bloom. I didn't expect a big one to bloom. You're good. I admit defeat. Lin Rei said and didn't forget to cup his fists to show that he was sincerely convinced. Ugh, you guys are. A crisp voice sounded from the side, awakening Lin Rei and Sakura from their telepathic communication. And nothing. The one who spoke wasn't anyone else, but Tian Ning, whom Sakura admired. Sakura looked into Tian Ning's clear, clean eyes and realized that he had fallen in love with her to the point where he couldn't extricate himself. He didn't dare to look at her again as he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to control himself and would do something overboard. He forcefully changed the topic, turned to Lin Rei, and said, Lin Rei, do you have any ideas about the space origin? After all, this is a chance for you to fight for a breakthrough. As soon as Sakura said this, everyone turned to him in unison with an expression that said, give me a solution. Lin Rei, looking at everyone's gazes, Lin Rei wanted to say, I don't. But for some unknown reason, the instant he blurted out this sentence, it went against what he wanted to say in his mind. This matter is a secret. The most important thing for us now is to find the existence of the space origin. As long as I see it, I will have the ability to subdue it. As he spoke, Linley's heart felt weak, but the expression on his face was resolute. Just one or two expressions. Sakura, and the others believed in Lin Rei's words and didn't have any doubts. But at the same time, Tian Ning and the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit had the opposite thoughts. After all, they were existences that belonged to the 3,000 Great Tao, so they were very clear about the strength of the space origin. Although they didn't know Lin Rei's strength that well, they knew that Lin Rei wasn't a match for the space origin. There was no doubt about it. TSK. Tian Ning didn't say anything in response to Linley's words, but the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit was different. Linley's actions had undoubtedly caused her to feel a trace of displeasure, so she was willing to give up such a good opportunity. Overall, you're just bragging. I really don't know if you really have the strength or if you're completely helpless and can't say it for the sake of your reputation. Having his thoughts exposed, Linley stared blankly. A hint of red appeared on his face, but this blush only lasted for an instant before disappearing without a trace. No one noticed. Lin Rei undoubtedly wouldn't answer the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit's question. After all, she was right. He hadn't thought of a way to fight against the space origin. However, just because he couldn't deal with it didn't mean that others couldn't. Lin Rei's heart skipped a beat when he thought of the little dragon. He felt a little guilty, but when he thought of how he could enter the holy world faster after increasing his strength and help the little dragon find the materials to reconstruct its body, the guilt in Lin Rei's heart instantly vanished. F***ck, no way. Can't you give me some peace and quiet? Within the system, the little dragon, who had sensed Lin Rei's thoughts, shuddered and exited from his cultivation. Raising his head to the skies, he muttered to himself helplessly. Seriously, isn't it just a space origin? In my previous world, an origin like this is something that even the lowest level of cultivators could easily squish to death. To think that it would become a top-class existence here. Heis. This world has declined. Thinking of everything in this world, the system couldn't help but sigh. It's not that this world has declined. It's just that the cultivation civilization of this bit wall has declined. The system spoke up for once. This bit wall belongs to the outermost region of the entire bit wall. The spiritual energy here is thin. Even things like skills are so unsightly. How strong do you think there could be in a bit wall of this level? As for the host, our mission is to nurture him into an existence that surpasses everything. As long as he can complete the opening of Hongmeng and become a Hongmeng, then his mission here will be considered complete and come to an end. As for his cultivation state, as long as he can reach the level of the Great Tao, then he will know what happens next. You must understand this. Looking at the skies, he rolled his eyes. This was the first time he had heard the system speak so much. And the purpose was for the sake of the host, which was Lin Rei. However, towards the words of the system, Lin Rei was just grumbling. In reality, if Lin Rei were to really meet with danger, how could he not lend a helping hand? Seriously, I've got to strike again. The little bit of confidence that I've just recovered is going to be depleted once more. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was deep in the outside world, did not know that the system and the little dragon had been discussing about him for a long time. At this moment, Lin Rei only wanted to raise his strength as soon as possible. As for finding the space origin, he would have to act according to the situation. No one knew what would happen next. Therefore, Lin Rei could only take it one step at a time. There was no other way. This was the most suitable way. After all, his strength was limited. Let's not discuss this matter for now. Not wanting to linger on this matter any longer, Lin Rei raised his head and looked at Tian Ning. He asked for her advice. Miss Tian Ning, may I ask if you can accurately sense the location of the space origin? Oh, of course. It's fine if you don't have the exact location. It's fine as long as you can determine which region it is in. Lin Rei said with a look of longing. This. Tian Ning looked at Lin Rei. Looking at that look of anticipation, she was stunned. She wanted to reply, but she did not know how to. Not for other reasons. Even if it was her, she could not pinpoint the exact location of the space origin. Even if it was a region, it was impossible. Firstly, it was because the slaughter origin was split into two and did not have its initial strength. Secondly, it was because the space origin specialized in spatial arts. As long as it used its spatial arts, even Hong Jun, who had the support of 3,000 great Daos, would not be able to pinpoint the exact location of the space origin, let alone Tian Ning at her peak. Is that so? Tian Ning stammered with an evasive look. Needless to say, Lin Rei also understood what was going on. Of course, despite this, Lin Rei did not say anything. After all, they were facing the space origin. It's fine. Anyway, the information I received said that the space origin is in the depths of the Xianming Valley. As for whether the information is correct or not, we will only know after we go in and investigate. After saying that, he smiled indifferently and stopped talking. After all, the situation was already very awkward. If he continued talking, he was afraid that he would feel so awkward that he would want to commit suicide. No one spoke. Sacre Tianfei led the way in front. The few of them coincidentally agreed that it wasn't that they didn't want to talk, but that they didn't know how to start. The atmosphere was cold to the extreme. No one knew what to say or do. They just kept flying like this. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed. The sky slowly darkened, and the atmosphere became even more oppressive. Look, in front, just when the atmosphere was extremely oppressive, a voice sounded from the front. The silence was broken by this voice. Everyone turned to the direction that the voice was pointing at. Up ahead, the lights of the past appeared. That was a city, an enormous city. Very, very large. This was the largest city Linley had ever seen, bar none. This city is, where is it? Why is it so huge? Moreover, there seems to be a huge array formation around it. This array formation is very powerful and mysterious. Where is this place? As soon as he had seen this city, Linley had sensed that it was different. Aside from being mysterious, the feeling this city gave him was that it was blurry. I don't know. We came here at the spur of the moment. As for where exactly? Dubhy Rabbit continued Lin Ray's words. However, she didn't say anything in the end because she didn't know where this place was. She also had the same feeling that Lin Ray felt. Sigh, who cares? Let's go in first. Anyway, we had the intention to go in before. Since we are here, why don't we go in and have a look? On the side, when Sakura saw Linley and Dubhy Rabbit's puzzlement, he rolled his eyes at the two of them in annoyance. Then, he opened his mouth to inform them. Without waiting for Linley and the others to speak, he took a step forward and disappeared on the spot. When his figure appeared again, he was already in front of the mysterious city gate. Stone City? This city is quite interesting. Stone City. Could it be that this city was named this because it was built by piling up stones? Seeing the name of the city, Sakura sneered and started to interpret it subconsciously. What did you say? A sudden angry shout made Sakura come back to his senses from his interpretation. However, at this moment, he noticed that there were still 2 guards on the city gate tower. You too? Looking at them, Sakura's heart trembled. A light flashed across his eyes. When he came here just now, he obviously didn't feel anything, but now, there were 2 living people in front of him. Of course, Sakura naturally wouldn't think that there was a problem with his divine sense or perception. So, there must be a problem with the 2 people in front of him. After all, he was still very confident in his own strength. Boy, what did you say just now? What does the name of my stone city have to do with you? Don't you know that trouble comes from the mouth and illness comes from the mouth? Sakura could clearly feel the attitude of the 2 people. They were angry. It could be seen that they cared a lot about the 2 words Stone City. Looking at the 2 people like this, Sakura knew that his invisible words might have poked the 2 people's reverse scale. He, who also had a reverse scale, understood this feeling. Both of you, I'm really sorry. Just now, my words were too offensive. I apologize here. After saying that, he cupped his hands and bowed. Not bad. I didn't expect that my clone would apologize to others. At this moment, seeing Sakura's action at this moment clearly from the rear, Lin Ray couldn't help but be stunned on the spot. It was the first time he saw Sakura standing up. That's right. I didn't expect that my husband's clone would. Not only Lin Ray, even Ing, who was at the side, was stunned when he saw Sakura's action. Let's go and take a look. Maybe something happened? Ignoring Lin Ray and the others, looking at Sakura's action, Tian Ning's heart skipped a beat. Without waiting for everyone's reaction, she took a step forward and rushed towards Sakura's location. Chapter 944. Sigh. This little lass. At this moment, Tian Ning looked just like a wife who was worried about her husband. Lin Ray and the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit exchanged looks and shook their heads helplessly. Let's go. Lin Ray shook his head helplessly and chased after Tian Ning. Lin Ray let out a bitter smile as everyone left. It seems like my clone has found his happiness this time. But his gaze fell on Tian Ning. This little lass seems to have a good impression of my clone. Although her original form is the Slaughter origin, it's fine as long as my clone likes her. Lin Ray smiled and beckoned to his wife before chasing after Tian Ning. Although he didn't need to worry about them, this place was strange after all. This was the first time Lin Ray had seen such a strange city. At the entrance of the Stone City, Sakura, who was in a stalemate, felt helpless. He didn't expect that he would be overheard for the first time. However, it was precisely because of this that those 2 people appeared. Otherwise, he wouldn't have known that there were people here. At the same time, this also reflected the strength of this city. Any one of the guards at the city gate could make him unable to detect a trace of qi. Then what about the big shots inside? What about the city lord? What about them? Sakura couldn't help but get excited. After all, if there were such powerful beings, he could seek advice from them. What happened? Just as Sakura was fantasizing about seeking advice after entering the city, Tian Ning's voice rang in his ears. Sakura abruptly withdrew from his fantasy. He turned around and looked at Tian Ning with an awkward smile. I accidentally said something wrong and someone overheard it. Now, it seems like they won't let us enter the city. You. The heavenly pivot rabbit who followed Sakura stared blankly at him. She wanted to speak, but didn't know what else to say. Sigh. She let out a sigh and retreated to the side in silence. The scene was extremely awkward. The two guards stared at Sakura with hatred in their eyes, as if he had done something that was intolerable to the heavens and the people. The two of you, I don't know how my brother offended you, but no matter what, I apologize on his behalf. As he spoke, a bottle of pills appeared in his hand. He opened the lid and a vigorous vitality leaked out from within. The vitality contained an irresistible fragrance. Lin Rei believed that even if an ultimate god saw it, he would love it so much that he would treat it as if it was his own life. He would even disregard the ultimate god's dignity and fight for it. However, the scene that Lin Rei imagined didn't happen. The two guards looked at the pill in Lin Rei's hand without a trace of fluctuation in their expressions, let alone greed. It was as if the pill in Lin Rei's hand was a pile of feces. It didn't arouse their desire at all. How could this be? What went wrong? Noticing that the two of them were not moved by this, Lin Rei was stunned. The scene he had imagined did not appear, and he was very confused about this. According to common sense, this kind of medicinal pill of his was very easy to use, and it was impossible that no one would be indifferent about it. But the two people in front of him, just when Lin Rei was at his wit's end, the little dragon's voice came, "All right, Lin Rei, you don't have to waste your energy. These two people don't have the slightest breath of life in their bodies, so your medicinal pill is useless to them." What? No breath of life? Lin Rei seemed to have heard something incredible. He was stunned and his pupils were waiting. He looked at the two guards with an incredulous expression. Yes, there are no signs of life. Understanding Lin Rei's doubts, the little dragon continued, "So, let me ask you, what do you think a thing without any signs of life will do to a medicinal pill full of vitality?" He understood the little dragon's meaning very well. If a person without any breath of life was faced with a medicinal pill full of vitality, it could be said that there was no temptation at all because they didn't need this kind of vitality, and even disdained it. However, how could a person, a living person without any signs of life, be able to stand in front of them alive? This made Lin Rei unable to understand. Moreover, this kind of situation had never happened before, whether it was in the God realm, the immortal realm, or the mortal realm. On the side, the heavenly pivot rabbit felt the violent fluctuations in Lin Rei's body. Coupled with the complicated changes in Lin Rei's expression, she understood that this matter was not simple. At the same time, she was drooling over the pill in Lin Li's hand. Although she didn't need something like life force, the fragrance of the pill made her want to eat it. She couldn't help but want to rush up and swallow it to satisfy her appetite. Phew! The little dragon appeared in front of Lin Rei and turned to look at the construction of the stone city. He sank into deep thought, as if he was trying to figure out something, but also as if there was something he didn't understand. His face was grave and his brows were tightly knitted together. It was Lin Rei's first time seeing the little dragon's current appearance. "How is it, Lin Li? Regarding this matter, At this moment, looking at the constantly changing expression on Linley's face, Sakura, who was by the side, opened his mouth and asked Linley. Perhaps because he felt that this matter was caused by him, his tone was much weaker. It's nothing. As Sakura's original body, Lin Rei could feel the guilt in his heart. This matter is far more complicated than you think. Did something happen? He knew Lin Rei's temper very well. He knew that Lin Rei wouldn't lie, so, yes. Looking at Sakura, Lin Rei nodded and transmitted his voice. Did you not sense their aura just now? Yes, how could I? Hearing Lin Rei's question, Sakura didn't even think and directly replied, indeed, I didn't sense their aura just now, so, it's not that you didn't sense it, but they didn't have the slightest sign of life. Without waiting for Sakura to finish his words, Lin Rei continued, let's put it this way. Even if it's a soul, it will have signs of life, but this thing doesn't have the slightest sign of life. So, it's normal that you didn't sense it. Don't take it to heart. Moreover, as he spoke, he turned to look at the stone city. I feel that this city isn't simple. The array on it is very powerful. I have never seen or even heard of this kind of array before. This. Listening to Lin Rei's message, Sakura's brain couldn't handle it. This was the first time he saw this kind of situation. Just like Lin Rei, he was stunned on the spot. Alas! It seems that we have encountered a very troublesome matter this time. Sighing, Lin Rei didn't speak anymore. He looked at the little dragon. He was waiting for the message from the little dragon. In the central area of the stone city, there was a very powerful courtyard. The scenery inside was pretty good. There were mountains, rivers, and forests. And in the center of this courtyard, there was a very gorgeous and generous layout. It made people feel very comfortable. Interesting, I didn't expect that people would come to my stone city. In the room, a middle-aged man had a smile on his face. He held a cup of tea and slowly brought it to his mouth. Fort Lord, how about this subordinate go and send them away? After all, you are trying to break through now. If you are disturbed by them, then. At this moment, a voice came from the door. No need. Hearing the voice coming from the door, the man raised his hand to stop it. Although the person outside couldn't see, the man seemed to be used to this kind of action. It has been a long time since someone came to our stone city. Now that these people are here, it's good to add some life to our city. Moreover, the person in the lead is holding a pill. If I'm not wrong, that thing's grade is very good. It can be said that it doesn't exist in the entire God realm. What? So strong. Understanding the man's words, a cry of surprise came from outside the door. Yes. So strong, if he can refine that kind of pill, maybe. As he spoke, the man seemed to have thought of something possible. His eyes instantly became wet. If the man didn't try to control his tears, he would have been unable to stop them from flowing down. Fort Lord, you must think of a way to solve this matter. Understanding the man's meaning, the voice at the door became even more urgent. If that person can really help, then the matter of our stone city having no signs of life can be completely solved. At that time, breaking through to the Saint realm will be even easier. I hope so. Hearing the words from the door, the man closed his eyes. A smile appeared on his face, but at the same time, there was a hint of bitterness under this smile. He understood that if this matter was successful, then their stone city would return to its former glory. But if it wasn't successful, then, as the saying goes, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He didn't want to speak of this matter. He understood that if it was not successful in the end, it would undoubtedly be a heavy blow to everyone in the stone city. As the fort lord of the entire stone city, he didn't want to see this happen. On the city gate tower, Lin Rei didn't know that their actions had long been noticed by the people in the stone city. Moreover, they were being monitored right under their noses. What they were doing was also clear to the other party at a glance. Why haven't you looked at it yet? Could it be that even the little dragon can't be used this time? Seeing that the little dragon was still silent, Lin Rei was anxious. 2 hours had passed. It was reasonable to say that the little dragon wouldn't use the needle for a long time. The longer it took, the harder it would be to deal with this matter. It might even be impossible. However, just as Lin Rei was feeling disappointed, the little dragon's voice echoed in Lin Rei's mind, "Kid, do you have so little confidence in me?" You're awake? No, you're peeking at my heart again. You. Lin Rei was delighted that the little dragon had awakened. Then, he realized that something was amiss. His expression changed and he wanted to step forward and argue with it. Sure. If you don't want to know why these people don't have any signs of life, fine. Come at me. I won't retaliate. Seeing that Lin Rei was about to settle scores, the little dragon was taken aback. Then, it spread its arms out shamelessly as though it was ready to be trampled on. Damn, it's only been a few days and you've become even more shameless. Compared to the little dragon peeking at his heart, he was more interested in knowing why these two guards didn't have any signs of life. That's more like it. Seeing that Lin Rei was silent, the little dragon smiled and explained. Actually, these people weren't born without any signs of life. It's just that there's something wrong with the magical formation of this city that caused their vitality to fade away. Hearing the little dragon's explanation, Lin Rei frowned. That's not right. Since their vitality has faded away, why didn't they die? Besides, aren't they standing there alive? Apart from their lack of vitality, nothing else has changed. I can feel that they can still devour the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to strengthen themselves and strengthen their cultivation. It's all thanks to this magical formation. Understanding Lin Rei's doubts, the little dragon said, "Actually, apart from the fact that this magical formation can drain vitality, its greatest effect is that after the people's vitality completely vanishes, they won't die and can still live like normal people. They've been living here for a long time. I guess they've already forgotten what it feels like to have vitality." Hearing the little dragon's explanation, Lin Rei fell into silence. Especially after hearing the effects of this magical formation, he was even more shocked. Not only was he shocked by the magical formation, but he was even more shocked by the person who set it up. To be able to set up such a shameless and powerful magical formation, how perverted must the person be to be able to do such an outrageous thing? Looking at Lin Rei's silence, the little dragon stretched its body and yawned. "Alright, you're clear about the matter now. Since there's nothing else for me to do, I'll go back first." Lin Rei came back to his senses and wanted to say something, but when he turned his head, the little dragon was already nowhere to be seen. This damn little dragon, it actually left without listening to me. Really? Looking at the direction where the little dragon left, Lin Rei couldn't help but grumble. How is it? Is there any progress? At this moment, Sakura's voice sounded, pulling Lin Rei back from his grumbling about the little dragon. Looking up, not only Sakura, but also Tian Ning and the Dubhe rabbit were looking at him with expectant gazes as though they were waiting for him to give an answer. Actually, it would be a lie if I said no. What? Hurry up and say it. What's the matter with them? I was stunned when Sakura told me. The Dubhe rabbit heard Lin Rei's words and asked immediately. Lin Rei smiled at the eager look on her face. You guys have also sensed it. This city is a magical formation, but the person who set it up isn't particularly nice. Magical formation? Upon hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone knitted their brows. The Dubhe rabbit was puzzled. What does their lack of vitality have to do with the magical formation? Yeah, I've never heard of a magical formation that can take away a person's vitality and still allow them to live. Yeah, look at them. Other than their lack of vitality, nothing else has changed. Is this something that a magical formation can do? At this moment, everyone started to explain their doubts. Unfortunately, Lin Rei didn't know how to answer their questions because he had never heard of it before. If it wasn't for the little dragon, he probably wouldn't know the use and power of this magical formation. Chapter 945. Under everyone's expectant gaze, Lin Rei was stunned and couldn't say anything. Lin Rei also wanted to know the answer to their question, but how could he know the strangeness of this array formation? With his current cultivation level, he could only see the circulation path of this array formation. If he wanted to know the true purpose of this array formation and try to decipher it, he would need an astronomical amount of time. Based on Linley's estimation, given his current level of understanding in the Tao of formations, he would need to at least reach the 9th stage of the martial saint level to be able to break through this formation. And in this period of time, he would need at least 1,000 or even 10,000 years. And now, the time that the system gave him was almost up. If he didn't enter the sacred realm within 400 years, he would lose his life. By then, it would be impossible for him to master the array formation, let alone decipher the array formation. Let's go in first. Let's see the situation in this city first. Facing everyone's expectant gaze, Lin Rei felt bitter in his heart and changed the topic. Now that the city is like this in front of these two people, it's imaginable what's inside the city. But this city is here. Why didn't anyone come here? Lin Rei thought about this question for a long time, but he couldn't understand. Logically speaking, such a huge city should be very famous in the divine realm. But after being in the divine realm for so many years, he had never heard of such a huge and majestic city like this stone city. Agreed. Heavenly Pivot Rabbit said. She was also very curious about this place. After all, as an existence at the peak of Tao, she had never seen such a strange thing. Now that such a thing happened in front of her, the curiosity in her heart naturally emerged uncontrollably. Seeing that everyone nodded in agreement, Lin Rei nodded in response. He turned to look at the two guards and said, "Both of you, we want to enter the city. Can you make way for us?" As the saying goes, try peaceful means before resorting to force. If he didn't resort to force directly, then it wouldn't be justifiable. Moreover, Lin Rei believed that he was a person who knew etiquette and manners. When the two guards saw that Lin Rei was so polite, their resentment towards Di Shi Tian disappeared. However, knowing the situation within the city, he quickly turned to Zhang Xian and said, "Fellow Taoist, it's not that we don't want you to enter, but it's just that our city is a bit strange. Anyone who enters will have their lifetimes sucked dry. In the end, they will become like us, a person who is neither dead nor alive." A hint of sadness appeared in their eyes. Although they said in their hearts that they did not care, after all, who did not want to become a living person and not be treated as a monster by others? Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment before he smiled and said, "Don't worry, I know the situation in this city." Moreover, Linley turned his head and glanced at the people behind him before continuing, "Don't underestimate us. Even the weakest among us is a mid-stage ultimate god. Besides, we're just going in to take a look. It won't take too long. Don't worry." This. Looking at the confident faces of Lin Rei and the others, the two guards pondered. In their hearts, they did not want to let Lin Rei and the others in front of them enter. After all, they knew in their hearts that this was their city. Moreover, they felt that they were already like this. They did not want others to become like them. However, Lin Rei and the others were determined. The two of them were helpless. After pondering for a moment, they finally shook their heads helplessly. Since you're so determined, we won't stop you. Thank you very much. Seeing that the two of them agreed, Lin Rei and the others were moved. You're welcome. However, I still want to give you a piece of advice. If you feel that something is wrong, quickly leave the city. Otherwise, we can't guarantee the consequences. Lin Rei understood the two's worries. He cast a grateful look at them and nodded. Understood. We'll remember your words. Don't worry. If there's any sudden situation in the city, we'll leave in time. We won't force ourselves. Seeing that Lin Rei had agreed, the two of them did not say anything else. They each took a step back and made an inviting gesture. Please. Thank you. After thanking the two of them once more, he stepped into the city. As for Tian Ning and the others, they followed behind Linli. However, when Sakura passed by the two guards, he stopped and clasped his hands towards them. Many thanks to the two of you. After saying that, he did not look back and caught up with Lin Rei and walked side by side. Whoosh, the moment Linli stepped through the city gates, a powerful gust of wind blew out from within the city without any warning. The wind was extremely strong, and if it weren't for the fact that Linli's eyes and hands were nimble and his mental energy was online, he probably would have been caught off guard. Of course, this was attributed to their strength. Otherwise, they would not have been so safe. If they were stronger, they would have been blown out of the 9 heavens. The wind here is so strong. There's even a trace of wind origin power mixed in. Feeling the strong wind blowing against her body, the heavenly pivot rabbit was stunned and laughed. When Tian Ning heard the heavenly pivot rabbit's words, she closed her eyes and carefully sensed it. She nodded and said, "That's right. There is indeed a trace of wind origin power. It's just weak and undetectable." Yes. It's quite weak. Otherwise, let alone moving forward, we'd be lucky if we didn't get killed. A smile appeared on the heavenly pivot rabbit's face as if she thought of something happy. Alright, don't think about it. Since we've already escaped, let's not think about those useless things. Tian Ning, who was connected to the heavenly pivot rabbit, understood her thoughts. If we meet again, I'm afraid we'll be on the opposite side of the wind devil. When that time comes, don't show any mercy. Otherwise, we'll be the ones to die in the end. Do you understand? Looking at Tian Ning, a touch of sadness appeared and nodded in agreement. The atmosphere was stirred up by the Dubhe rabbit's melancholy. Linli frowned and immediately broke the atmosphere. I say, can we leave now? Do you think it's too hot and want to stay here to cool off? As soon as this sentence came out, everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Rei with strange gazes. Among them, the strange gazes of the two women were especially obvious. After following Lin Rei for so many years, this was the first time they heard him speak like this. Although they weren't used to it, they liked Lin Rei very much. After all, no one was like their husband who kept a straight face every day. Why are you looking at me? Seeing everyone looking at him like this, he felt uncomfortable for a moment. Let's go. After saying that, he turned around and rushed forward. Although the wind was very strong and even had a feeling that it wanted to blow people away, Lin Rei didn't care about that at this moment. He just wanted to leave the strange gazes of everyone as soon as possible. Oh, it seems that I'll have to help Lin Rei more in the future. I didn't expect that there would be a day when he would speak like this. Looking at Lin Rei's back, Film Emperor Shirtian smiled and said. Hearing Film Emperor's words, everyone nodded in agreement. Even the heavenly pivot rabbit nodded in agreement. During this period of time, he understood everyone's thoughts very well. Let's go quickly. Looking at her husband's back becoming more and more blurred, Ing became anxious. After informing everyone, she quickly chased after the place where Lin Rei disappeared. Whoosh! At this moment, at the city gate, a blurred figure stood out from the fierce wind. The moment that figure's foot completely stepped into the city, the strong wind instantly disappeared. What the f***ck? This damn wind can't be caused by the array, right? Feeling the warmth of the wind in the city, Lin Rei was startled. Looking back, there was nothing behind him. It looked like an ordinary passage. In order to confirm his thoughts, he turned around and stepped out. Whoosh! Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind appeared from every direction. Linley could feel the wind battering his body, but he couldn't sense where this gust of wind was coming from. It seems that this array is more powerful than I thought. If I can completely solve it, then, will my array skills enter a new height? Lin Rei didn't dare to imagine, but he knew that this was only her wishful thinking. With the time he had left, it was impossible for her to do something that made him so excited. Alas! Understanding his time, he couldn't help but sigh. A touch of loneliness appeared on his face. Not only did he feel that his life was not free, but he also felt that it was a pity that he couldn't solve this powerful array in front of him. Whoosh! Two voices rang out from behind Linley. Shadow and Ice had just escaped from the wind generated by the formation. Raising her head, she saw her husband. Without saying a word, the two of them rushed forward and took Linley's hands into their own, not letting go. Humph, stinky husband, you left us again. Yes, you don't know how worried sister and I were about you. It's like this every time, really. This. Being pulled back by the two women's words, he smiled awkwardly and apologized, that. Looking at their husband's deflated appearance, Ing and Bing couldn't help but burst out laughing. Oh, okay, don't say this and that. We forgive you this time, but don't do this next time. Yes. Speaking, the two women held Lin Rei's hands more tightly. It was as if they let go, Lin Rei would leave them. Alas! Feeling the nervous attitude of his two wives, Lin Rei smiled apologetically and then nodded. Turning his hands, he held the two women's hands and walked forward. Facing Lin Rei's action, the two women's cheeks blushed. The original strong attitude disappeared and was replaced by the attitude of a little woman. The three of them walked forward. As for the three people behind them, Lin Rei seemed to have forgotten about them. The three of them walked together. When they first entered the city, there were few people. It could even be said that they didn't meet anyone at all. But the more they walked, the more people gradually appeared. There's still no vitality. Looking at the figures that appeared, Lin Rei released his divine sense to investigate them. The result was the same as the gatekeeper. There was no vitality, but they were still living like normal people. It seems that the whole city is like this. Looking at the bustling figures, Ing said. It's too pitiful. Who on earth is so crazy? If it's really like what you said, then, shoo. Looking at Bing, Lin Rei quickly shushed him. His face was very serious. Don't say such things now. ? Feeling the dignified face of their husband, the two women were full of doubts. To be able to arrange such a powerful array, the strength of the person who arranged it can be imagined. Although I think I'm confident in my own strength, I'm not sure about such a strong person, so, with that, he looked at the two women with a dignified expression and continued. So, when I don't have the ability to protect you here, try not to say anything unnecessary. Understanding their husband's meaning, for a moment, the two women nodded repeatedly. We understand. Husband, don't worry. That's good. Seeing the two women agree, Lin Rei guiltily promised. Don't worry. This situation won't happen for too long. Soon, I will have a breakthrough in my cultivation. At that time, Mo will have the strength to protect you and not let you receive the slightest bit of harm. Understood? We believe in you. At this moment, other than happiness, the two women felt nothing but happiness. Outsiders? Foreign clansmen have actually appeared. Heavens, they actually dared to come here? Sigh. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since outsiders appeared. At this moment, they dare to. At this moment, the natives of Stone City noticed Lin Rei's group. One person spoke, and then the other one spoke one after another. However, in their words, there was shock, surprise, regret, and fear. They understood the price of entering Stone City. They were different. These outsiders were the same as them. They were afraid. In the past, there were outsiders who came here frequently. However, those who set foot in Stone City ended up dead. For some reason, when outsiders entered the Stone City, their life force would disappear just like the people here. However, the only difference between them and the natives was that after the outsiders' life force disappeared, they would not become like the natives. Instead, they would die directly. Even their divine souls would collapse the moment the outsiders died. In the end, he would die and his Tao would vanish. That person would no longer exist in this world. There would not even be a cycle of reincarnation. Hello. Being awakened by the surrounding natives, Lin Rei raised his head and greeted them with a smile. Young man, you should leave quickly. At this moment, an old man walked over from afar. He ignored Lin Rei's greeting and said, Young man, we are in an ominous place. There is only one end for outsiders who enter this place, and that is death. It's been so many years. Even though there are very few outsiders, and it can even be said that there are no more, we still remember what happened back then. In the end, even when they died, they never thought that this city would bring such great fear to them. That's right. Hearing the old man's words, everyone lowered their heads as a trace of sadness appeared on their faces. This is something we don't want to see. This place has been cursed, and any outsider who comes in will only die. Hurry up and leave. Chapter 946. Lin Rei and the other two heard every single word that the Aborigines said. From their words, Lin Rei could hear sadness, sorrow, pain and unwillingness. It was Lin Rei's first time hearing such complicated emotions. He understood the sadness and pain of these people. Husband. Looking at the Aborigines around her, a glint of tears flashed in her eyes. Her heart softened. She wanted to help them, but she knew her own strength. The only hope was her husband. Husband, why don't you see if you can save them? Bing quickly said, Look at these people. They are so pitiful. They can't come in contact with people from the outside world. They can't even enter this place to pick up people. Their lives are too, alright, stop talking. Before Bing could finish, Lin Rei quickly stopped him. To be honest, he also wanted to help. He also wanted to help the people here, but he couldn't do it. He thought that his time was limited. If he accepted this matter, only death would await him. In comparison, Lin Rei cherished his own life more. He had people he wanted to protect, so he couldn't say anything. On the other side, Bing, who was stopped by Lin Rei, looked wronged. He didn't understand why Lin Rei was like this. Don't talk about this matter anymore. Do you understand? Lin Rei didn't want to explain anymore. If he told them about his situation, Bing and the others would be more worried. This was not something he wanted to see. He turned his head to look at the Aborigines and asked, Everyone, we are just passing by. We are here to stay for the night. Tomorrow, we will leave. To reassure them, Lin Rei continued, "You don't have to worry about us. Our vitality is very strong. There won't be any problems staying here for one night. You can rest assured." Boom! In order to make the natives believe him, Linley hurriedly released all of his cultivation base. He had the cultivation base of a mid-stage godly exalt and the combat power of a Dao fruit saint. At this moment, Linley held nothing back. Huff huff, waves of energy appeared out of nowhere. The moment Lin Rei released his cultivation, they turned into powerful gusts of wind and pressure, once again suppressing the natives here. Plop, plop. In the instant that Linley unleashed his power, apart from Chuing and Bing, the rest of the natives of the city were forced to kneel on the ground, unable to control themselves. Some of the weaker ones were even lying on the ground. Their appearances were strange, and they were sprawled on the ground with their limbs spread out. The scene was extremely comical. "Outsider, hurry up and retract your cultivation. Some people here can't take it. Hurry up, or they will be suppressed to death by your pressure." A voice filled with majesty came from afar. From the voice, one could tell that this person was someone who had always been in a high position. There was a commanding tone in his voice. Lin Rei frowned when he heard this voice. He was very unhappy, but in the end, he still listened to the mysterious voice and retracted his cultivation. In an instant, the strong gusts of wind disappeared the moment Lin Rei retracted his cultivation. The pressure also turned into nothingness in an instant. The natives who were originally suppressed to the critical point felt their bodies lighten and their breathing instantly became smooth when they felt the pressure disappear. Cough cough, the sound of coughing resounded throughout the entire place. After regaining his senses, Lin Rei looked at the miserable faces of the people around him and was stunned for a moment. He then revealed an apologetic expression. Originally, he just wanted to prove himself. Who knew that he forgot that these people's cultivation was too weak? They couldn't withstand his pressure at all. Whoosh, as soon as the sound of something breaking through the air was heard, Lin Rei, who sensed it, raised his head and looked in the direction of the sound. Looking over, a plainly dressed middle-aged man appeared in front of Lin Rei and the others. However, the middle-aged man didn't greet Lin Rei when he arrived. Instead, he squatted down and began to check on the natives who were suppressed by Lin Rei and didn't get up. Seeing him like this, Lin Rei was startled. Although he was very unhappy, he knew that he didn't handle this matter properly, so he didn't say anything about it. Time slowly passed. Lin Rei just stood there and watched as the middle-aged man busied himself without stopping for a moment. During this process, Sakura, Tian Ning, and the heavenly pivot rabbit finally sighed. After understanding the situation, everyone couldn't help but give Lin Rei a thumbs up. Finally, the middle-aged man rescued the last native. His heart, which had been in his throat, finally relaxed. It's finally over. This is great. Although they are injured, they are only minor injuries. He stood up and said to himself. Then, he turned to look at Lin Rei and the others. Fellow Daoist, you came from afar. I don't know what made you so angry that you actually injured these natives with low cultivation. Looking at the middle-aged man's question, Lin Rei subconsciously wanted to explain. However, as soon as he opened his mouth, he stopped. That's not right. Who are you? Why should I explain to you? Also, I didn't make a move. I just wanted to prove that I can stay here for a night without any problems. That's why I released my cultivation to prove it. As he spoke, he revealed a trace of embarrassment. His tone was clearly weaker than before. However, I didn't hold back for a moment. The cultivation I released was a bit strong and I didn't control the range well, so, at the side, before Lin Rei finished his sentence, the heavenly pivot rabbit couldn't help but mock Lin Rei. It's fine if you're weak. You still have the cheek to find such an excuse. How shameless. Really, Lin Rei, what should I say about you? There are many ways to make others prove themselves. You actually used the stupidest method. Ha ha. You. Upon hearing the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit's words, Lin Rei was instantly enraged. He couldn't care less about the middle-aged man beside him. He immediately let loose and started to bicker with the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit. Originally, there were only a few onlookers. However, as the two of them became more and more aggressive, more and more onlookers gathered around them. Finally, when the whole street was crowded with people, Ing and the others realized that the two of them were fighting against each other. They were fighting against each other. Husband, stop fooling around. Everyone is watching. Upon seeing the crowd, Ing hurriedly stepped forward to stop them. Rabbit, stop fooling around. It's embarrassing. Tian Ning and Ing stepped forward to stop them at the same time. Lin Rei, after recovering from his dissatisfaction, Lin Rei turned to look at the surrounding situation and was instantly startled. He didn't expect that there weren't that many people just now. But now, there were so many of them. Looking at the crowd around them, the two of them chose to remain silent. Thinking about what he had done just now, Lin Rei was stunned and blushed with shame. I didn't expect that after cultivating for so many years, I would still be so worried. Just like a shrew cursing on the street. Thinking back to what he had just done, Lin Li couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. TSK, after glaring at Lin Rei, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit retreated to the side and stopped talking. The scene fell into an extremely awkward situation. No one knew what to say. The crowd hadn't seen outsiders for a long time. Now that they saw them, would they leave? The answer was, of course, impossible. For them, who had been trapped here all year round, naturally, they wouldn't leave so easily. Fellow Taoist, I wonder if you can come to my residence for a seat? At that moment, the middle-aged man spoke and broke the awkward situation. In this regard, Sakura and the others cast a grateful look at him. Your residence? Looking up at the middle-aged man, Lin Rei frowned and was full of doubts. Yes, oh yes, I forgot to introduce myself. Understanding Lin Rei's doubts, the man quickly said, I'm Shilong, the fort lord of this stone city. Well, it can be said that this fort lord is equivalent to the city lords of other cities in the outside world. Oh. Fort Lord Shilong. Looking at Shilong, Lin Li revealed a smile. Castle Lord, I wonder what's the matter. You see, I'm only going to stay here for one night. We'll leave tomorrow. Therefore, I'm in a hurry. If there's nothing urgent, we'll leave happily. After saying that, Lin Rei turned around and intended to leave. As for Shilong's invitation, he didn't think it was a good thing. As the saying goes, there must be a demon in abnormal things. Just now, he had treated the aborigines here so badly, but this Shilong could still invite him so calmly. Either this Shilong had something to ask of him, or this Shilong had a deep heart. Either way, Lin Rei wouldn't go. After all, his time was limited and he didn't want to waste it on meaningless things. Lin Rei replied. He really didn't expect this. He originally thought it would be easy. Turning his head to look at the crowd, Shilong hesitated. He didn't want to announce that matter so soon. After all, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He didn't want to reignite everyone's hope because of this matter and then be destroyed because of failure. What? If there is nothing else, we will leave first. After saying that, Lin Rei turned around and walked towards the depths of the stone city. On the other hand, he knew that Shilong wouldn't give up if that matter was really important. Wait, fellow Taoist, please wait. Sure enough, when Lin Rei was about to leave the crowd, Long called out to Lin Rei and the others. Long trotted all the way to Lin Rei's side. He glanced at the crowd and then transmitted his voice to Lin Rei. To be honest, fellow Daoist must have some understanding of the situation of my stone city. What do you think? Hearing this, a bad premonition surged in his heart. However, he still responded, it's lifeless. Although you guys are among them, but... Moreover, I don't think an ordinary person can set up such a powerful formation. Moreover, when I entered the city, I checked and found that no one has been here for a long time. I am very puzzled about this. Logically speaking, it is impossible for no one to come to such a huge city. Oh, fellow Daoist is really clear. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Long was stunned and smiled bitterly. Fellow Daoist, you are right. Our entire city can be said to be a huge formation. Moreover, the person who arranged the formation is very powerful. As for the long time no one has come here, is it because not everyone can come here? What? What do you mean? Lin Rei didn't quite understand what Long meant. What did he mean by not everyone can come here? He was a little confused. Seeing the puzzled look on Lin Lei's face, Long began to explain. Actually, it's very simple. This city of ours is a floating city within the deity realm. You might not believe me, but every so often, our stone city will disappear, then reappear in a random corner of the deity realm. But even so, no one will come here, because they don't dare. They are afraid. Afraid? What? Lin Rei's interest was piqued, especially when he heard that this huge city could move. He understood that this might be the effect of the formation. Our city is not alive. It can be said to be a dead city. Moreover, this city can choose who to let in. Let's put it this way. As long as the city doesn't like you, you can't enter even if you want to. If you force your way in, the formation will be activated. The original trapping formation will immediately transform into a killing formation to kill the intruder. With that, Long cast a reassuring look and continued, similarly, if the city recognizes someone, he can enter without any hindrance. Obviously, you are the people chosen by the city. That is why you are here. Damn, there is such a formation? At this moment, other than shock, Lin Rei didn't have anything else. He knew about formations, but he didn't know about such a powerful formation. He really didn't understand why such a powerful formation would appear in this place. At the same time, after listening to Long's description of the formation, he understood that he had underestimated the formation. At the same time, he recalculated the time needed to break this formation. Originally, he thought that it would be possible to break it in 1,000 to 10,000 years. However, Lin Rei didn't think so. Let alone 10,000 years, even 100,000 years would be difficult to break. Sigh. A sorrowful expression appeared. This matter is the pain of our entire stone city. Originally, we had already given up. However, after your arrival, I suddenly have a feeling that we are not completely without hope. You? What do you mean? Feeling Long's scorching gaze, Lin Rei's heart jumped. That bad premonition was getting more and more intense. He had even guessed it. Plop. Suddenly, under everyone's gazes, Long, who suddenly appeared, directly knelt on the ground. He transmitted his voice to Lin Rei. Although these words are somewhat abrupt, I still beg you to save the lives of the millions of people in our stone city. Although we can still survive in this state, those people in the divine realm see us as aliens. We are even more abandoned by them. We have had enough of this kind of life. Perhaps because he was too emotional, Long's tears flowed down his face. Snot and tears flowed down his face. The scene was extremely comical. Who doesn't want to live under the sun? Who wants to be treated as a rat crossing the street? This Seeing Shilong's crying appearance, Lin Rei subconsciously wanted to refuse. However, when the words of refusal reached his mouth, it was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. Those words of refusal that he wanted to say couldn't come out. "I beg you." Saying that, Shilong continuously kowtowed to Lin Rei. As the saying goes, saving a life is better than building a 7-storied pagoda. The lives of the millions of people in Stone City are all counting on you. Chapter 947. A dignified lord of a city was kneeling in front of a stranger who he didn't even know if he could save his people. Ordinary people didn't have this kind of courage and magnanimity. However, Lin Rei couldn't save them just because of this. It wasn't that he didn't want to save them, but that he couldn't. He wasn't a bodhisattva, let alone a tendo. He couldn't be selfless and sacrifice himself for others. In the face of death, he was still himself. He was also human. Death was something he was born with. More importantly, if he was gone, what would happen to the Xuanzong sect? What would happen to his family and brothers? If he was gone, would those sects, forces, and holy lands that he had offended in the past make a move against his family and brothers? More importantly, if he rose, would those battle generals he summoned disappear and leave with his death? Lin Li had no choice but to take these uncertain factors into consideration. Looking at Shilong kneeling in front of him, Lin Rei was also suffering. He also wanted to help, but fate made fools of people. Alas! Looking up at Shilong, Lin Rei sighed. His face was full of depression and helplessness. "I'm really sorry. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's just that the formation here is too powerful. Moreover, I don't have the ability to save you now. Of course, all of you might also know that the person who set up this formation is extremely powerful. I presume that his strength and influence are also extremely shocking. If I were to act rashly, it would not only be a provocation to that person or that force, it would also be a threat to my life and the people around me. So, sorry, I don't have the ability." After listening to Lin Rei's long speech, the final result was that he didn't have the ability. Shilong, who was kneeling on the ground, trembled and lost all his strength. His body went soft and fell backward. "No way, no way. Why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. Why is it like this?" Perhaps it was because of that sentence. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Perhaps he had told Lin Rei everything from the very beginning, so when he heard that Lin Rei had no solution, he despaired. Humph. What a cold-blooded and heartless person. He clearly has a way, yet he's willing to leave him in the lurch. Public morals are truly degenerating with each passing day. Yes, I agree with you. The heavenly pivot rabbit's voice sounded, and Tian Ning quickly chimed in, "You clearly have a way, yet you're making it sound so dignified. As the saying goes, saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-storied pagoda. You're not worthy of being a cultivator." These words came out of nowhere, leaving Lin Li speechless. He really hadn't expected that someone who was born to kill would actually be discussing with him how to save people, and would even occasionally berate him for it. If Hongjun saw this scene, he would probably be stunned. Not only him, but even Lin Rei was shocked. "Husband, you really have a way?" Ing, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly spoke, her expression full of expectation. "Husband, I think what the heavenly pivot rabbit said is somewhat reasonable. If you really have a way, then save the people here. Look at them, how pitiful they are. You." Seeing that they were all saying this, Lin Rei was really suffering in silence at this moment. He could not voice out his bitterness. Facing his two wives' words, Lin Rei really did not want to refuse, but with his current strength, he really had no way. Lin Rei, alright. Seeing that Sakura was about to speak, Lin Rei did not wait for him to speak and interrupted him. I say, don't make a mess here. Don't tell me you don't have any idea of my insignificant strength? As he spoke, he directly threw a supercilious look at Sakura. Do you really think that this array can be broken by my current strength? Naive, too naive. What about in the future? Looking at Lin Rei, Sakura opened his mouth and said, although you can't do it now, it doesn't mean that you can't do it in the future. Just now you said that you can't do it now. That means that you will definitely be able to do it in the future, right? Sakura's words made him speechless for a moment. He didn't expect Sakura to play word games with him. However, what he said was not wrong. Although his current level of array and other alchemy wasn't very good, it didn't mean that it wouldn't be good in the future. Moreover, he also believed that he would definitely break through in the future. Moreover, it was a fact that he had this kind of determination and perseverance. Moreover, he believed that he had the strength to do so. Looking at Sakura and the surrounding people's expectant and nervous expressions, Lin Rei hesitated for a moment. After thinking over and over again, he finally shook his head with a bitter smile. Really, Sakura, you've learned bad things. After saying that, Lin Rei's eyes intentionally or unintentionally glanced at the place where Dubhe Rabbit was. And this was what Shilong wanted to hear the most. Shilong, who was originally in complete despair, suddenly escaped from disappointment and despair after hearing Lin Rei's words and became very spirited. The original look of disappointment had completely disappeared at this moment and was replaced by hope that was replaced by disappointment and despair. You mean there's still a way, you? He stuttered, perhaps because he was too excited. Hearing Shilong's voice, Lin Rei lowered his head to look at him. When he saw the expectation in his expression, Lin Rei nodded helplessly. Yes. There is, but it will take time. With my current strength, it's not enough to break this huge array. If there's enough time, maybe I can try to break it. Of course. In order not to disappoint Shilong again, Lin Rei continued. Although I said it's possible, it's not absolute because this is the first time I've seen this kind of array, so, understood. Seeing Lin Rei go to this extent, Shilong nodded repeatedly. As long as you agree to help, then our Stone City will respect Mr. in the future. After saying that, Shilong didn't forget to kowtow to Lin Rei and his voice was even louder than before. At this moment, Lin Rei's conversation with everyone had unknowingly changed from voice transmission to oral expression, so everyone present knew their conversation. In this regard, as long as it was a native of Stone City, when they heard that there was still a way to become a normal person, they were very excited, and happy. Plop. The sound of people kneeling came from all around. Lin Rei was stunned and glanced around. At this moment, except for Lin Rei's group, the other natives of Stone City were all kneeling on the ground. We thank Mr. for saving our lives. Because they were too excited, their voices were very loud as if they could pierce through the sky. Looking at them, Linley was stunned. Coming back to his senses, he hurriedly went forward to help them up. However, when Lin Rei's hand was less than an arm's length away from Shilong's body, Shilong reached out and stopped him. His voice accompanied his action into Lin Rei's eyes and ears. Don't be like this. This is our thanks to you. I hope you won't stop us. Please. F***CK, hearing this, Linley knew that this was a F***King moral kidnapping. Moreover, Linley had not made a decision to help, but it was already impossible for him to refuse. What was this called? This was like forcing a duck onto a perch. However, looking at everyone's expectant and pleading expressions, Lin Rei's heart softened and he finally nodded in agreement. All of you, get up. I can agree to this matter, but you have to understand that this matter isn't something that I can help you with just by begging. You've heard that I don't have the ability right now. If you really think highly of me, then you have to wait. When I have the strength, I will save you. Of course, this is all I can do. If you're not satisfied, then, no. Without waiting for Lin Rei to finish, Shilong hurriedly said with a grateful expression, you being able to save us is already the best thing for us. As for time, this thing is the most abundant to us. You just have to save us in the end. As for when to save us, you have the final say. Hearing this, the natives kneeling around quickly echoed, yes, Castle Lord Shi is right. We don't lack time. As long as you have the time and strength, it won't be too late for you to come. Yes, yes. As long as you can save us. Seeing the look of absolute certainty on everyone's faces, Lin Li suddenly felt as though he had dug himself a very, very deep hole. Thinking about how he would have to worry about this matter in the future, Lin Rei immediately regretted it. Now you're regretting it? At this moment, the little dragon's voice suddenly appeared in Lin Rei's mind. However, the voice was filled with ridicule. Do you know that the decision you made just now has already made you go against a powerhouse? What? What do you mean? He communicated with the little dragon. Don't tell me that the person who set up this formation is a super powerhouse and is one of the strongest in the holy world. It can even be said that he's a powerhouse from the Hongmeng realm, which is a higher level than the holy world. Let's talk about this later. I can only tell you that the person who set up this formation is a super powerhouse. With your... no, even if you become a saint, I'm afraid you're like an ant against an elephant. You're courting death. Lin Rei was a little unhappy with the little dragon's insistence, but when he thought about how he had dug such a huge hole for himself, he suddenly felt like giving himself a few tight slaps. F***ck, my mouth is so F***king cheap. If I knew things would turn out like this, I wouldn't have forced myself. Although he complained, since he had already made a promise, there was no reason to go back on it. Serves you right. The little dragon could only think of this word for Lin Rei now. You. Tsk. Knowing that the little dragon had a sharp tongue but a soft heart, he didn't refute. Instead, he asked with a smile. Little dragon, since things have turned out like this, what do you think we should do next? Little dragon? The little dragon seemed to have disappeared without a sound. Lin Rei was stunned. Little dragon? Little dragon, don't play dead. Hurry up and come out. Little dragon? And then, Lin Li called out once more, but in the end, all he got was silence. Lin Li felt quite helpless about this. F***ck, you're too mean. Lin Rei wanted to exit the conversation with the little dragon. Ding! Because of the host's promise, a hidden mission has been unintentionally triggered. Would the host like to accept it? This sudden voice caused Lin Li, who had been about to withdraw, to pause. He subconsciously said, accept. Ding! Okay, host, please wait a moment. Ding! Acceptance complete. Would the host like to check? Tsk, check or not check? Lin Rei thought about this question again and again. Compared to the pit just now, he was more willing to step into the pit he chose. Facing the pit of the system, he didn't know how many times he had stepped into it, and which time didn't he narrowly escape death. However, Lin Rei was very curious about the message he just received. He wanted to know what the mission was. Check. In the end, Lin Rei blurted out. Ding! Okay. Ding! Hidden mission, break through the realm within 100,000 years and return to the stone city in the heavenly realm. Help the residents of the stone city return to their original lives and break the powerful array. F***ck. He knew it was a trap, but he didn't expect it to be such a big trap. Not breaking through the realm and breaking the stone city's array for 100,000 years, Lin Rei didn't have any confidence in this. Facing such a powerful array, Lin Rei wasn't prepared for the speed of the Saint's breakthrough. Ding! Congratulations to the host for accepting the hidden mission. Mission reward, all attributes increase by 1 level, Yuan Ling Scroll. F***ck, hearing the system's voice, Lin Rei's mind was filled with 10,000 F***king curses. When did I say I accepted this mission? Facing the system's trap, Lin Rei felt as if he had eaten a bunch of dead flies. It was disgusting. Ding! After the system received the message and checked it, you have chosen to accept this hidden mission. Oh, right, I forgot to tell the host that if you don't agree to this mission, the punishment will be like this. You know what it is. F***ck, Lin Rei's eyes widened, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Black lines appeared on his forehead. At this moment, Lin Rei's mood was extremely bad. Although he had just promised Shurcheng that he would rescue him, that was only because there was no time limit. But now? Now, there was a time limit for no reason. 100,000 years. Lin Rei didn't dare to guarantee this number because no one could say for sure what would happen in the future. For a moment, Lin Rei was speechless. He withdrew from the system's conversation and looked forward like a fool. His expression was very complicated. Melancholy, confusion, anger, all kinds of emotions flashed across Lin Rei's face. Regarding this, the crowd at the side was truly at a loss as to what was going on. Chapter 948. Husband. Sensing everyone's strange gazes, Shadow came back to his senses. He took a step forward and whispered into Lin Li's ear. Husband, what's wrong? Just as he was immersed in his dissatisfaction with the system's mission, a familiar voice suddenly rang out in his ears. Lin Li snapped out of his daze and turned his head to look at his wife. Lin Li smiled and said, "No, nothing. I was just thinking about something." Lin Li could only say this. He couldn't say that he only had 100,000 years. If he couldn't break through this stone city's formation within 100,000 years, then the only outcome would be death. But Lin Li wouldn't say this. He didn't want to affect his wives with something so bad. Alright. In order to attract everyone's attention, Lin Li raised his head to look at Shurlong and said, "Shurlong, I agree to your request. Shouldn't you step aside and let us in?" Of course, of course." Hearing Lin Li's words, Shurlong blushed with shame and embarrassment. He hurriedly said yes, stepping aside and making an inviting gesture. "Sigh, it's really not easy." Seeing the path open up for him, Lin Li couldn't help but glance at the people around him, especially the Dubhe rabbit and the others. After muttering to himself, he reached out and grabbed Shadow's hand, walking forward. "Tch, what's there to be proud of? Isn't it just breaking a formation? Really?" Seeing Lin Rei's expression, the heavenly pivot rabbit was unhappy. As an existence who had once reached the peak of Tao, how could she endure Lin Rei's treatment? However, in her current state, she didn't have the qualifications to fight against Lin Li. She believed that she knew her own limits. In her current state, let alone fighting against Lin Li, she would be lucky if she didn't get crushed to death by Lin Li. If she was still following Hong Jun, if she wasn't separated from Tian Ning, if she was still in the slaughter origin, she would disdain and be ashamed to attack a cultivator like Lin Rei. Not for other reasons, but Lin Rei's strength was too low for her to attack. Hehe, why are you so angry? As a part of the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit, Tian Ning understood and could understand the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit's feelings at this moment. Not at all. As a former expert, how could the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit admit it? Even in front of Tian Ning, who was like her, it was impossible for her to admit her unhappiness and helplessness. On the other side, Sakura, who had spent a lot of time with the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit, rolled his eyes when he saw her lying. I really don't know what you're thinking. If you're unhappy, then so be it. Why are you still so stubborn? Looking at Sakura who was leaving, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit wanted to say something. However, Sakura didn't give her the chance. At this moment, Sakura had already chased after Lin Rei. Tian Ning, look at him, he's bullying me. She came to the door of the Heavenly Pivot restaurant and looked into the restaurant angrily. You guys are too hateful. You didn't even wait for me. Just you wait. Looking inside, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit didn't care about anything else. She used her divine sense to scan the entire Heavenly Pivot restaurant and found Lin Rei and the others. The Heavenly Pivot Rabbit didn't stay for long. She stepped into the restaurant and arrived in front of Lin Rei's door in an instant. She raised her hand and slammed the door. Bang! The sound was extremely loud and clear, causing the entire restaurant to be alarmed. However, Lin Li and the others had been paying attention to the Dubhe Rabbit's every move the entire time. As a result, they were not alarmed by the sudden sound. Instead, they stared at the entrance in high spirits. The door opened and the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit appeared before Lin Rei and the others. They chose to remain silent and gave the opportunity to speak to the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit. Sure enough, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit's next move was just as Lin Rei and the others had said. The moment the door was opened, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit stepped in and began to complain to the others. Look at you guys. Do you have any compassion? How could you leave such a cute rabbit like me there? Do you know that I'll be scared? I'm still so young. Aren't you afraid that I'll be abducted or killed and skinned? Don't tell me you didn't think that my young heart would be hurt. It's fine that you guys didn't wait for me. Tian Ning, you actually treated me like them. You. For a moment, everyone's eyes were on the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit. Looking at the cute Heavenly Pivot Rabbit, Ing had the urge to go up and hug her. Not only did he not want to, but she also did it. Just as the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit was complaining to the others, Ing raised his hand and restrained the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit who was walking. He stood up and went to her side and hugged her. Oh, you're so cute. Girls naturally had no resistance to this kind of furry thing. Even Ing and the others who were in the peak ultimate god realm were the same. You guys treat this holy sage like this. You. Feeling the touch from the top of her head, the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit was very unhappy. Hehe, I didn't expect that you would have such a day. Tian Ning who was sitting at the side looked at the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit's embarrassment and couldn't help but laugh happily. You. Tian Ning, you. The Heavenly Pivot Rabbit was very angry that her other half didn't help her when she encountered such a situation and was still happy at the side. The original Ing played with the Heavenly Pivot Rabbit. Then Bing joined in, followed by Tian Ning. Finally, the few of them were chatting happily. Lin Rei didn't intend to participate in the women's topic. The three men just sat at the table and looked at each other. No one knew what they were thinking. The atmosphere was quite oppressive, especially Long. As for Sakura, it was fine since he was Lin Rei's clone after all. Perhaps because of the oppressive atmosphere, Long couldn't stand it anymore and broke the oppressive atmosphere. "Senior Lin, where are you going this time? Why are you passing through our stone city? As far as I know, there aren't many places you can pass through from Stone City." "Oh, it's nothing." Seeing Long ask, Lin Rei didn't hide it. "This time we are going to a place called Xianming Valley." "What? Xianming Valley?" Hearing the 3 words Xianming Valley, Long exclaimed. His expression was very complicated and his eyes were wide open. His appearance was very frightening, as if there was something terrible in this place. "What? We can't go to this place." "Yes. What's wrong with this place? How can it make Long so strange?" Sakura was also very curious. He couldn't understand why Long had such an expression. "This." Seeing Lin Rei and Ying's inquiry, Long hesitated. He was very familiar with this place called Xianming Valley. Although he hadn't been there for a long time, the scene he saw at that time was still unforgettable. "What's going on? Tell us." Seeing Long being so hesitant, Lin Rei couldn't stand it and directly urged. Perhaps because he was anxious to know about the Xianming Valley, Lin Rei didn't control his emotions and directly roared. His voice wasn't loud, but everyone in the room heard it. Even Ying and the others who were playing around heard Lin Rei's roar and quickly stopped their actions and kept silent. You guys." Feeling Ying and the others' actions, Lin Rei awkwardly scratched his head. He understood that he was acting strange and scared his wife and others. Lin Rei felt very guilty about this. "It's fine, you guys. You guys continue. In order to not make his wife unhappy, Lin Rei awkwardly smiled and quickly said. However, his words didn't work anymore. Ying and the others didn't act like before. Instead, they obediently found a seat and sat down. They didn't speak anymore. Among them, even the heavenly pivot rabbit who was full of complaints at the beginning did the same. However, her appearance was very funny when she sat next to Ying and the others. Sigh. Seeing them like this, Lin Rei sighed and didn't think much about it. He turned to Long and whispered, "Tell me about the Xianming Valley." Xianming Valley. Perhaps it was because of Long's earlier attitude, or perhaps it was because Long had thought of what to say. "I've been to the Mystic Hell Valley before. There's something there that's extremely powerful and terrifying. Most of the alchemists who went in didn't come out with me, and I don't know why, but recently, more and more people are going there. What happened that year is happening again." "Oh." Hearing this, Lin Rei became curious. It was fine now because of the existence of the space source, but Lin Rei was even more confused about the previous matter. Sensing the doubt in Lin Li's eyes, Long hurriedly continued, "There are people from the Dragon clan living there. When I went in, I accidentally ran into them and almost died at their hands." He thought it would be something terrifying, but he didn't expect it to be like this. Dragon race. Lin Rei didn't know what to say about the dragon race. He remembered that the Xuanzong sect he founded had 2 dragons. One was Little Black and the other was Little Gold. Little Gold's rank was very high. A 5-clawed golden dragon was the royal family of the dragon race. Besides Long, the others were indifferent. Lin Rei didn't doubt that they had never seen the dragon race before. It could even be said that they had seen the dragon ancestor. As for Ying and the others, they weren't afraid. After all, the Xuanzong sect had 2 dragons. They had a lot of dealings with them in the past. More importantly, they were very confident in their strength. Aren't you worried or afraid?" Looking at everyone's indifferent expression, it was as if what he said wasn't a big deal. Of course, it might be a big deal to him, but Lin Rei and the others didn't feel anything. Long, you don't have to worry about this matter. As for the dragon race you mentioned, I just hope that they won't run away when they see us. That's right, I believe in this point. Sakura also believes in the dragon race you mentioned. You said that they came out to cause trouble, so I can only say that they are courting death. Sakura and Tianning spoke one after another. At this moment, Shilong finally knew why he trusted them. Shilong. Lin Rei, who hadn't spoken until now, finally spoke. You are from the Xianming Valley, right? I have been there. Shilong naturally told Lin Rei everything he knew. After all, he was the one asking for help. He couldn't wait for Lin Rei to ask him. I want you to be my guide. I don't know if you agree. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.